10-4. We continue on the pregame show here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Tommy Fox with you from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota, as Fargo is set to take on Youngstown for Game 2 of their 2-game set. Time now to take a look at the other action going on around the USHL as the Fargo Force are about to be introduced, as they were introduced onto the ice just about now. The Chicago Steel will be taking on Team USA. That puck drop is set for 6 o'clock. Cedar Rapids will be taking on Green Bay. That game is just getting underway. Sioux Falls taking on Lincoln. That's a 6:05 puck drop. Sioux City taking on Omaha. Des Moines taking on the Waterloo Blackhawks. That game is just getting underway. Dubuque, they'll be hosting Tri-City. That's a 7:05 puck drop. And the Madison Capitals will be hosting the Muskegon Lumberjacks. That puck drop is set for 7:05. Let's look at the action going on around the USHL. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the keys to the game, followed by starting lineups, then the opening puck drop. It's Veteran Honor Flight Night at the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. Game 2 of this 2-game set between the Youngstown Phantoms and the Fargo Force. This is the pregame. This has been the pregame show, and this is Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. We can, that'll actually be good because then we can do like the anthem and everything. That's fine. Yep. Okay. Actually, they're doing the color guard, so because of like veterans, we can maybe do another we can go 2 minutes actually. There'll be time.
From the Fargo Veterans of Foreign Wars, host 762 present the colors.
rendition of the national anthem as the colors are being retired here on Veterans Honor Flight Night at the Shields Arena. It's game 2 between the Fargo Force and the Youngstown Phantoms of this 2-game set. Tommy Fox with you here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Glad to be with you here on this Saturday night. Jordan Bennett producing back in our 740 The Fan studios. Time now to take a look at some of the keys to the game here tonight. As for the Fargo Force, you got to put the hammer down defensively. It's been working all season long. Why stop now? For the Youngstown Phantoms, you got to pick up the offense. So kind of opposites in regards to keys for both of these teams, although Fargo has to find a spark offensively just as much as Youngstown does. So kind of the same keys for both teams going in this game tonight. Time now to take a look at these starting lineups for both teams, starting with the home team. On the scoreboard, the Fargo Force. Head coach Brett Skinner will have his team look like this. Jacob Sagan will be out there along with Luke McNamara and Eero Butello. Those are the forwards in the starting lineup. Axel Lofgren and Garrett Lindberg are the starting defensemen for the Fargo Force, and Alan Lendak will be in between the pipes for the Fargo Force. For the Youngstown Phantoms, they'll look like this. Evan Jardine will be out there along with Jack Hextall, the center, and Kyle O'Leary. The defensemen out there will be Jack Wilson and Cal Houston, and in between the pipes will be Owen Leapock for the Youngstown Phantoms. Fargo will be moving left to right, and they win the opening puck drop, and off we go here on this Saturday night at Shields Arena. Fargo won last night 2-1. McNamara sends it through the high slot and to the end boards, but taken back by the Youngstown Phantoms. Hextall lost the handle. Retrieving at that time was Cal Houston. Taken at center ice by Fargo. A couple of substitutions as Caleb Kim is coming into the game. Caleb Kim, one of the newcomers for the Fargo Force. Played his first game last night. Loose puck in the far circle, and a big hit delivered that time in the corner by Caleb Kim. So he's playing an impact early. Puck retrieved at center ice by Shepon Cherney. Here's Kim. Sends it to the point, but quickly taken back. Here's a shot from the high slot. It kicks away to the right side. Good effort that time, but nice save by Leapock. Cal Houston has it behind the red line, and Youngstown looks to advance. Only 18:44 left in period number 1. No score. Here's a drive in the high slot. That shot's just over the net. Good attempt by Patrick Tolan. Here's Brooks Cullen. He slipped and fell, but able to get it to a forced teammate in the point. Puck dug out in the near boards. Loose puck in the near circle here. Tolan, a little bit of a dish off. Puck still loose, but now finally taken back by Youngstown, going right to left. Simpson dumps it off. Got shoved a little bit by Saxton Tess, but no penalty. Fargo again moving left to right on your radio dial. Big hit delivered that time on Graham Greeter, but he was unable to get it to his guy. Greeter able to get it back. Greeter has it. Pass intended for Eero Butella, but now it's going to go off the stick of a Youngstown Phantom on the near side. Fargo wearing their blue tops with red trim and black bottoms. Stick handle at the point. Stick handle in the high slot. Puck in front, and it's just going to be just wide. Right there, almost having it was Nick Kasiba. Right at the point, Butella a shot. That's going to deflect off a player. And sent out to neutral ice. And a couple of substitutions. Bryce Matterns gliding into the game. Here's a shot out in front. And a save made by Owen Leapock. So lots of shots early on for Fargo. That's their third shot of the contest. 17:08 left in period number 1. Axel Lofgren is the Quick Star Spotlight Player of the game. Committed to UMass. out of Luella, Sweden. Face-off coming up in the far circle of the attacking zone for the Fargo Force. Bryce Mattern will take the face-off. He'll be taking on Matus Kucharczyk, drafted by the Buffalo Sabres. And Kucharczyk wins the face-off for the Phantoms. Approaching 17 to play in period number 1. McCray wanting it, but instead it was taken through the point by Stepan Cherney. Puck loose along the end boards. Now goes around the near boards. Kicked around by a couple of Fargo Force players. And skating up the ice is Kucharczyk. Kucharczyk sends it off the boards, trying to send it that time to Alexander Svetsov. But here comes Zach Zimmerman. It is confirmed that he'll be going back to play for the Moorhead Spuds. Of course, Mason West, who was drafted by the Blackhawks, and a Phantom player colliding into the boards, and he hit Alan Lendak. A little bit of a scrum on the end boards in the Fargo defending zone. There'll be a face-off coming up. Lendak makes the save. Wrong place at the wrong time. Looking at the replay, yeah, he hit it. He hit the end wall hard. Braden Thompson coming into the game. He joins Matus Kucharczyk along with Jack Hextall. And there should be another substitution, I would imagine. Yep, they're going to bring in Evan Jardine. Cal Houston coming into it. Seems to be a little bit of confusion with the Youngstown bench. I don't think anybody knows their line assignments, at least for this instance. That's why there's a little bit of a stoppage in play. Face-off will be taken in the Youngstown defending zone, their far circle. Graham Jones nearly won the face-off for the Force. Puck goes around the end wall. Puck now loose at neutral ice on the near side, right in front of the Youngstown bench. But then it gets sent right back into the Youngstown zone. Sent out to the far wall to Jack Hextall. Hextall, stick handle right at the blue line. Sent through neutral ice to the far side. Pass intended that time for Jack Wilson. Good defense by the Fargo Force, disrupting the pass. Hextall pass across neutral ice. And this will be an icing. Sent past the red line, icing's called. Face-off will be coming up. Still no score, 15:51 left in period number 1. Alan Lendak on the season, 2-4-0. 90% save percentage on the season, so he is a stud as well. Obviously, A.J. White getting the win last night, committed to St. Thomas. One of the better goalies in the USHL. Face-off won by Youngstown, sent through neutral ice, but then picked off right at the Fargo Force emblem. And then a puck out of play sent by Colin McCray, who's able to intercept it right behind, right to the left of the Fargo Force emblem in front of us. So a face-off coming up on the near side, right in front of the Youngstown bench, which is just to the right of us here at Shields Arena. A little bit of pushing and shoving. Some more pushing and shoving going on as Wyatt Sibnewski was trying to get a little bit of leverage, possibly mind games. Here's Patrick Tolan. Sibnewski tipped it. Stick handle at neutral ice that time by Kyle O'Leary. And the puck goes right to the crease, and it's scooped up by Alan Lendak. A little bit of pushing and shoving at the end. And another face-off coming up in the Fargo zone. Youngstown has a lot of players committed to some college, whether that be Cooper Simpson at the University of North Dakota, Ryan Rusinski, to the Ohio State University, and many others. Face-off won by Fargo. It's going to skip along the near boards, scoots through neutral ice. Butella trying to chase after it, but he isn't able to win the battle. Puck sent along the far boards. Pass down low to Ryan Rusinski. Rusinski takes it through the near circle. Rusinski trying to set someone up at the point, instead dumps it off along the near boards. Cooper Simpson has it. Simpson rifles one to the near side. Trying to set up Sean Miller on the near side for Youngstown. Taken left to right by Fargo. Jacob Sagaden pressured along the near corner and taken away eventually by Youngstown. Great forecheck early on by these Youngstown Phantoms, one of the better defensive teams in the USHL. They are not easy to score on. 14.5 to go in period number 1, no score. Here's a shot from the near point. It's going to go right off the pad of Owen Leapock. Puck taken back by Fargo. It's going to be reset at neutral ice. Couple of substitutions for both teams. Puck sent down to the other end. Line change for Fargo. Big hit by Graham Jones. He's trying to pry it free. Puck still loose in the corner. Finally plucked out by a Youngstown player. That ended up being, I believe, Jack Hextall that was able to get it for Youngstown. Puck now right behind the red line of the Fargo defending zone. Puck sent out to the point. Here's a shot right from the point, off a shoulder of Alan Lendag. Nice save by him. Puck still loose on the near circle. Puck out in front in the crease, and Fargo's able to get it away for the moment. Sent back deeper into the zone that time by Carter Murphy of Youngstown. Puck now taken by neutralized by Graham Jones. He dumps it off, and a line change for Fargo. Still zeros across the scoreboard. 13:20 left in period number 1. Fargo looking to make it a clean sweep of Youngstown here in this 2-game set at Shields Arena. Tolan with a pass across neutral ice to Graham Greeter. University of Minnesota Mankato commit. Puck now behind the red line. Nearly taken away by Patrick Tolan. Skating through neutral ice go the Phantoms. Big hit delivered by Arseny Marchenko. He had his first goal last night. He delivers a big hit there on JT Vini. Lots of physical action going on between these two teams. It's kind of expected with any team in the USHL. Swiping and getting the puck that time was Graham Greeter yet again. He sends it out along the far boards. Puck scoots through neutral ice yet again. Collected by Jack Wilson. He sends it across to the far side to Jack Hextall. And check that was Cal Houston getting on the receiving end. Sagaden tried to feed it. Sagaden almost got it back. Here's a feed down low. Now set up at the point. Here's a shot. It's going to be off the, I believe, the pad of Patrick Tolan. That was a good opportunity. 2 shots total for Youngstown. 4 shots for Fargo. Here's a chance out in front. And a nice save made by Alan Lendag. A little bit of pushing and shoving at the end as O'Leary is locking horns with Axel Lofgren. And a few other punches are being thrown. That was Jack Hextall throwing a punch. And we will step aside with no score in the first period. 11:51 left to go until the first intermission. It's Fargo nothing, Youngstown nothing. Break for 60 seconds. This is Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Stand by. Tommy Fox from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. No score between the Fargo Force and Youngstown Phantoms. A power play now for the Youngstown Phantoms after a penalty was called on Luke McNamara. Luke McNamara in the penalty box, so a man advantage for the Youngstown Phantoms, looking to get on the board first. A couple passes right back to the point, and Jack Wilson. Here's a shot from the high slot, and it's in. Youngstown scores on the power play. It's 1-0 Youngstown here in period number 1. Give that goal to Ryan Rusinski, the future Buckeye and Buffalo Sabres draft pick, able to sneak it through the legs of Alan Lendak. And Youngstown wasting no time to get on the board. Looking at the replay, yeah, that just snuck right through. That's the recipe for success, getting it, just getting right at the net. Not doing any cherry picking around the point. And we'll see who gets the assist on that. There was a couple of Youngstown players in the crease. And the faceoff is going to be won by Youngstown. Nice job that time by Malachi McKinnon to get it free to a Youngstown player. Whistle's been called. This should be an offside call on the ice. So another faceoff will be coming up. This will be on the far side, right in front of the Youngstown penalty box. One nothing our score. Youngstown with a 1-0 lead on a Ryan Rusinski power play goal. That is goal number 10 on the season. Give him 20 points total on the year. He is an absolute stud. Here's a shot from the far side, kicked away by Fargo. An excellent job that time. Jesse Orlowski dumping off for Malachi McKinnon, who gets pinned in the corner. Carter Murphy dumps it off in the corner this time. A little bit of traffic in the far side. Pass intercepted by Fargo. Axel Lofgren has it, sends it across. Now the puck ends up at neutral ice. Taken down by Jacob Saganen, dumps it off for Luke McNamara, who is in the penalty box for a roughing penalty. Puck taken back by Youngstown, but then it's kicked loose and taken back by Fargo. Big hit along the Fargo bench. Puck squirts free behind the red line and taken back by Youngstown. 10-17 and counting left in period number 1. 1-0 lead for Youngstown. Fargo looking to move left to right on your radio dial. Sent back to neutral ice. Caleb Kim dumps it off. Trying to dump it off in the corner anyway, but it's going to go back to neutral ice. Colin McCrate sends it right behind Stepan Cherney, who chases it back into his own zone. Stepan Cherney, a little bit of a stick handle near side. Kim able to dump it off. Cherney sends it across this time to Graham Greeter. Graham Greeter pinned along the far boards. Pass all the way to the point for McCrate. McCrate sends a shot that gets kicked aside by Leapock. Good shot by McCrate. That puck was tipped. Almost looked like it was kicked there for a second. And a face-off is coming up. So we will step aside yet again. So 5 shots for each team at this point. So with 9:35 left in period number 1, it's Youngstown 1, Fargo nothing. Let's break for 60 seconds. This is Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. There's a lot of people here. What's up? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Tommy Fox with you here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Jordan Bennett, our producer, back in our 740 The Fan studios. A 1-0 lead for the Youngstown Phantoms on a power play goal by Ryan Rusinski of Youngstown. Fargo looks to answer as Nick Kosiba sends it along the end wall. Dunked back in by Patrick Tolan, right to the point for Arseny Marchenko, who I think was trying to shoot there from the point, but it must have hit a Youngstown player. Here's Kosiba, takes it along the far side. He gets tripped up, no call. And that was a clean look, or a clean call rather, on the ice. Intercepted by Axel Lofgren, looking to dump it off for a Fargo Force player in the vicinity of Nick Kosiba, who slams into the end wall in the Fargo zone. Patrick Tolan takes it through neutral ice. Almost intercepted that time by Bryce Mattern. A big hit along the corner wall by the West Fargo product. He is an absolute machine. He is not afraid of playing physical. Bryce Mattern, 5 points on the season, committed to Arizona State. Bryce Mattern has it now along the end wall, trying to send it to a Fargo player, but instead it's intercepted. Kyle O'Leary sets it up. Still a loose puck at the point. Puck sent out to the left side of goalie Owen Leapock of Youngstown. Puck still loses. Graham Jones has it at the point. Stick handle along the blue line. Now takes it through neutral ice yet again. Graham Jones dealing with a lot of traffic. All of it by Jack Hextall. He's an absolute stud as well. Committed to Michigan State. 15 points on the year for Hextall as the puck goes back into the Fargo zone. Big hit delivered again by O'Leary. Graham Jones got sandwiched between two Phantoms along the far boards. Puck still loose at neutral ice, taken now by Carter Murphy. Murphy sends it along the end wall. And eventually there will be a line change for both these teams. A few of these players have been out there for quite some time. McNamara looking to dump it off. He does. As Butello is chasing it, he is unsuccessful. Puck sent along the end walls again. Ricochets right in front of Lendak. Puck out in front. It scoots by the crease. Nobody home for Youngstown, so Fargo catches a break. They still trail 1-0. 6:50 left in period number 1. On a power play goal by Ryan Rusinski. Puck sent to the Youngstown zone across the red line. Dumped off right behind the goalposts. Now sent through neutral ice. Dumped off by JT Vini. Couple of substitutions for the Youngstown Phantoms. Puck intercepted right in the point. Here is Jacob Sagan. Stick handle on the near side. Sagan in the crease, and he is shut down by a Youngstown Phantom right to the left of Owen Leapock. Puck sent to neutral ice, taken by Cullen McCrate. Stick handle at the center line. McCrate taken along the far circle. McCrate slams on the brakes, but he loses the handle. Puck is now loose and taken by Youngstown. The forecheck has been unbelievable to start for these Phantoms, and they dump it off. Successful dump off that time by Cooper Simpson, the UND commit, and the Boston Bruins draft pick. Fight for the puck along the near corner. Zach Zimmerman nearly getting it back. And the puck will scoot free right behind the red line. Puck sent to Zach Zimmerman, the former Moorhead Spud. He will be playing Moorhead hockey this year. He is a senior there for this 2025-2026 season. Zimmerman lost the handle. Puck still loose in neutral ice. Still loose. Tipped out in front by Graham Greeter, and the puck is still free. Boy, oh boy. These Fargo Force players are being stingy right when it matters. Stick handle at the point. Shot no good. That was Malachi McKinnon on the shot. Here's Arseny Marchenko through neutral ice. Marchenko gets it poked away, trying to take it along the end wall. A big hit delivered there on the end wall. That was Jack Hamilton, the big hit, committed to Miami of Ohio. 4 points on the season for him. Puck still loose along the far boards. Now it scoots free to Brooks Cullen. Brooks Cullen sends along the near boards. It's going to go right to a Fargo Force player, that being Graham Greeter. He sends it to Jack Torr, who's going to take it through neutral ice. Jack Torr stick handle sends it into the defending zone of Youngstown. 4:25 left in period number 1. Youngstown leading 1-0, moving right to left in front of us on the ice. Sent down to Patrick Tolan. Here's Jack Torres, stick handle yet again across the blue line. Torres trying to catch up with it, he does. He's kind of sandwiched along the end wall in a Youngstown player. That being Matus Kucharczyk. Kucharczyk 9 points total on the season. Stepan Cherney tried to get it out of the zone, but he couldn't. Here's Hextall sending it to the point in Cal Houston. Here's a shot from the near side, no good. Wilson was there on the shot. Cal Houston again. We're going to get it back, and he will, but he has to go back through neutral ice and sends it back to a phantom player who had to reset. Puck squirts free right through the crease, right through the slot, and a little bit of sloppy play from both sides. Here's Wilson, dumps it down, and taken by Caleb Kim, the newcomer for the Fargo Force. Bryce Mattern checking into the game along with Colin McCreight and Graham Jones. Puck nearly intercepted by Bryce Mattern. Bryce Mattern is so fast on the ice. Puck tipped that time, nicely done that time by Caleb Kim, and a whistle has been called. That puck went out of play. Face-off coming up. Glad to have everybody listening on 740 The Fan, KNFL AM Fargo, 107.3 FM, along with FloHockey for the TV side. Tommy Fox with you from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. 1-0 lead for the Youngstown Phantoms over the Fargo Force on Veterans Honor Flight Night. Face-off one, here's Caleb Kim. Fargo Force winning the face-off. Graham Jones dumps it off for Kim, who's pinned along the far wall. Puck still loose. Colin McCreight will take a shot. That is going to be blocked that time by Leapock. Puck behind the net. Centering feed out in front. Matter nearly had it, but it's taken away by Youngstown. Great positioning that time by Cooper Simpson. Tipped, I believe, by Bryce Mattern, so an icing will be waved off. Graham Jones with a good forecheck. Puck intercepted by Fargo yet again. Braden Thompson trying to play it, but he gets it taken away. Puck now at the point. Here's a shot that's going to be off the wall by design. Here's Marchenko. Marchenko, a shot from the slot. Blocked out in front. Here's a chance for Fargo. Third opportunity, and a sprawling save made by Owen Leapock. A little bit of pushing and shoving from both sides. Fargo nearly had a chance, but unfortunately, Owen Leapock able to block those shots. He had his legs kind of sprawled out, trying to cover as much length of the blue paint as he could, at least for one half of the blue painted area. Face-off coming up in the near circle. Here's Luke McNamara taking the face-off, and he'll be opposed by Jakub Hesch. Hesch committed to the University of Nebraska, Omaha. He has 10 points on the year. Face-off won by Youngstown. Nicely done by Jakub Hesch. Puck intercepted at neutral ice by Graham Greeter, who dumps it off. Youngstown in their white tops and purple bottoms with white and purple trim, rather red trim, and purple numerals. Puck loose out in front behind the red line, sent around the end wall. Tipped by McNamara. McNamara able to get it back. Sends it along the near side. McNamara almost got it back again. Sent back out to the point, Garrett Lindberg. Sends it across the ice. This is Axel Lofgren. Shot out in front. No chance there for the Fargo Force. Lofgren has it again at the point. Rifles a shot out in front. Another save made by Leapock. And the puck tipped right before the blue line by Jakub Hesch to avoid an icing, but it's going to be sent down the other way regardless. Block made by Owen Leapock. Intercepted by Brooks Cullen. He had his first goal of the season last night. Tried to set up for a Fargo Force player. Cullen had it out in front again, but he lost the handle. 1 minute left in period number one. Loose puck. That's going to be scooped up by Al Lendeck. Big collision along the end wall, and there's going to still be pushing and shoving. And we will most certainly get a replay of this on the TV side. And there was no penalty on the play. That was clean. And there will be a post-game jersey auction, as it is Veterans Honor Flight Night here at Shields Arena. So after the game, sections 101 and 102 always good to have those festivities at Shields Arena. There is a stoppage in play. I'm not sure if this is going to be, this won't be a penalty. That's what I understand. I think one of the officials just wanted a word with the head coach of Youngstown, Ryan Ward. Jack Hextall will be taking the face-off for the Youngstown Phantoms. A big purple Phantom logo on the center of their jerseys. Face-off one on the near side of the Fargo defending zone by Youngstown. Chance out in front, and a save made by Lendak. Another face-off coming up. 53 1/10 of a second remaining here in period number one. 1-0 lead for Youngstown on a power play goal by Ryan Rusinski. The intermission report, of course, is coming up momentarily. Another face-off coming up in the far circle of the Fargo zone. Face-off won by the Fargo Force. Jack Hextall of Youngstown unsuccessful, but he's able to get it back in neutral ice before having it taken away by Saxton Tess. Sent down along the near boards. That time by Jack Torr. Or check that, that was Colin McCrate. Colin McCrate sending it back a second time through neutral ice and into the Youngstown zone. Murphy sends it through neutral ice. Puck tipped by Colin McCrate. Puck still loose in the point of the Fargo zone. Puck taken away by Stepan Cherney. Under 20 seconds to go and counting. 15 seconds, 14 seconds, 13 seconds. Puck still loose. Saxton Tess sends it along the end wall. Puck played yet again by Evan Jardine. Jardine tips it. Jardine has a chance. Jardine a little backhand, and a save made by Alan Lendak with 1 second remaining. Incredible stick handle that time. Just weaving and dodging his way through the crease. And he had to work around the far face-off circle, covering a lot of the ring. Face-off won by Youngstown. Shot from the point by Matus Kucharczyk, and that is going to end the first period. So after one period of play in game two of this two-game set between Fargo and Youngstown, it's the Youngstown Phantoms 1, the Fargo Force nothing. The intermission report is coming up next. Let's break for 2 minutes. You're listening and watching Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Yes, sir. All right, all right. Jack Michaels. All right. Jordan Bennett producing back in our 740 The Fan studio. It's always good to have him producing. He's always going to play the best songs possible. Good to have him along for the ride, along with you, whether you're listening on 740 The Fan or watching on FloHockey. Tommy Fox with you from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. A 1-0 lead for the Youngstown Phantoms after one period of play. Welcome to the intermission report. The first intermission is here, as again, Youngstown leading 1-0, and after one period of play, 9 shots for Fargo, 10 for Youngstown, so both teams playing pretty evenly. This has kind of been a theme whenever Fargo has played anybody. They kind of play neck and neck with almost every team, and that could kind of be because of the inexperience that this Fargo team has, but they're winning games. That's the important thing, and they're making these wins look even more impressive, especially with the way they're playing defense. They gave up a power play goal in the first period, but that doesn't mean that the game's over. You still got 2 periods. That's the silver lining I'm sure head coach Brett Skinner is applying in his first intermission report speech as we speak. Try not to rhyme there, but again, 1-0 lead for the Youngstown Phantoms. Taking a look at the scoring recap for period number 1. Again, only 1 goal. It was scored by Ryan Rusinski. It was a power play goal as Luke McNamara was in the penalty box for a 2-minute roughing penalty that came within 8:03 in the 8 minutes and 3 seconds into period number 1 was where Luke McNamara was called for the roughing call. And only 26 seconds later, Ryan Rusinski committed to the Ohio State University and drafted by the Buffalo Sabres, getting his 10th goal of the year, getting assists from Cooper Simpson, who got his 15th of the year, and an assist from Jack Wilson. That would be his 5th assist of the season. So only 1 power play at this juncture. So what does that tell you? Both these teams have been pretty disciplined, still a little bit scrappy here and there, but in the same token, both teams showing incredible discipline through one period of play. And head coach of the Youngstown Phantoms, Ryan Ward, has to be incredibly impressed with his team going into this second period along with this intermission, because it's not easy to really win the penalty minutes battle in regards to getting fewer penalty minutes or getting more penalty minutes than Fargo. No penalties yet for Youngstown. That could most certainly change, as we know Fargo is a very disciplined team, almost at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to penalty minutes in total at this point of the season. But that also doesn't really say all good, because, you know, you got to be physical. Both these teams know how to do that. Fargo is most certainly one of the more disciplined teams in the league, but so is Youngstown, and that's kind of why we have a 1-0 score at the break. So a couple of keys going into the second period. Well, for Fargo, only 1 penalty, so discipline really hasn't been the issue. It's about getting cleaner shots. Not many clean looks for these Fargo Force players, as the forecheck applied by Youngstown has been incredible, especially in the attacking zone, as a lot of passing lanes were clogged up. The puck was constantly being taken away. Not many clean looks for these Fargo Force players to take a shot, and that's what you're going to need against this Youngstown Phantom squad, because their defense is absolutely incredible. So essentially fighting fire with fire in regards to defensive talent here tonight. So for Fargo, you got to get cleaner shots. For Youngstown, you kind of want to stay away from the penalties. You may not have any, but if Fargo has a chance to tie the game on a penalty, on a power play, that could be huge going later on in the game. And for Youngstown, also, stay physical. It's working. Why stop now? Why stop being physical? For Fargo, You got to get goals on the board as quickly as possible, no doubt about that. When we return here on the intermission report, we'll take a look at some scores going on in the USHL and take a look at some other college hockey scores as well. At the intermission report here at Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota, it's the Youngstown Phantoms 1, the Fargo Force nothing. Let's break for another 2 minutes. You're listening and watching Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey.
Youth Pond Hockey Day is happening February 7th with 6U, 8U, and 10U co-ed teams. The Adult Pond Hockey Classic is February 14th and 15th with novice, silver, and gold divisions. Players can sign up as a team or individually and be placed on a team. In between games, relax in the warming tent with food and beverages. Memories are sure to be made. More information at fargoparks.com.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I did. Yeah, I did. That's why I was smiling. Yeah, that was well played. Well played. All right. We continue on the intermission report here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Tommy Fox with you from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. Jordan Bennett producing back in our 740 The Fan studios. Time now to take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard for the USHL. Here tonight we'll take a look at some college hockey scores as well, maybe throwing a little NHL. For the USHL tonight, it is Team USA leading 2-1 over the Chicago Steel after one period of play. Tied up at 1 between Green Bay and Cedar Rapids. Again, 1-1 after one period of play. It's also 1-1 nearing the end of period number 1 between the Sioux Falls Stampede and Lincoln Stars. Sioux City with a 2-0 lead over the Omaha Lancers. That first period is just about wrapped up with about a minute remaining in that opening period. Waterloo leading Des Moines 1-0, 14:21 left in period number 1. That game just about getting underway. For the Dubuque Fighting Saints and Tri-City Storm, they still haven't dropped their puck yet, as it is expected to be a 7:05 puck drop. Same case with the Madison Capitals and Muskegon Lumberjacks. That is a 7:05 puck drop here tonight. Taking a look at some college hockey scores, of course, the UND Fighting Hawks are taking on Arizona State. That is a marquee matchup. North Dakota won last night 5-2. And we'll take a look at some of those other scores right now. University of Minnesota winning against LIU 4-3. 14:44 left in period number 3 in that one. Merrimack leading Providence 3-0. After 2 periods. Providence, the 15th ranked team in the country. University of Miami, Ohio, trailing Western Michigan 4-0. Western Michigan they're ranked 4th in the country, and they have 4 goals in period number 2, the second intermission report. Top 5 matchup between Penn State and Michigan. Penn State leading 2-0 over Michigan. Michigan State, the number 1 ranked team in the country. They lead Notre Dame 2-1. Just getting underway in period number 3. Minnesota State Mankato, 16th ranked team in the country, leading Lake Superior State 3-1. Bemidji State and Michigan Tech tied up at 1 apiece going into the third period. Yale and Cornell, they're just getting set to drop the puck. Or check that. 1 period of play done between Yale and Cornell. Cornell, the 17th ranked team in the country. Top 20 matchup between Boston College and Massachusetts. That's scoreless after 1 period of play. Another top 20 matchup, Ohio State taking on Wisconsin. Wisconsin and Ohio State tied up at 2 apiece after 1 period of play. Very competitive matchup right there. The North Dakota and Arizona State matchup I alluded to just a moment ago for Game 1 last night. Game 2 is currently tied up at 1 apiece at the Ralph Engelstad Arena. North Dakota ranked 8th in the country as of right now. Augustana, they're leading St. Thomas 3-1. Augustana, one of the up-and-coming programs in hockey and just pretty much everything athletics, so watch out for them. They are an excellent team, no doubt about that. That is 3-1 in favor of Augustana after 1 period of play. Another top 15 matchup, Northeastern and UConn. They are scoreless at the 12:39 mark of period number 1. A top 20 matchup between the University of Denver and Colorado College. That'll be a 7 p.m. puck drop. That'll be about 10 minutes from now. So Colorado College, 20th ranked team in the country. Denver is ranked number 9. We do have some final scores as well. Dartmouth defeated Clarkson 3-1. Rensselaer defeated UMass Lowell 2-0. Quinnipiac defeating Boston University 6-2. Quinnipiac, 5th ranked team in the country. Boston University ranked number 12. Sacred Heart winning 3-2 in their matchup against Canisius. 3-2 the final in favor of Sacred Heart. And Union New York winning 6-0 over New Hampshire. So those are a look at some of the college hockey scores and college hockey action going on tonight. Lots of NHL, a little bit of NHL action, not just a little bit, a lot of NHL action going on today. Some games haven't even gotten underway yet, but the ones that have, we will bring them up right now. We do have one final today. Tampa Bay Lightning winning 3-1 over the Florida Panthers. The Minnesota Wild leading the Anaheim Ducks 1-0 at the end of 2. Boston Bruins tied with the Montreal Canadiens 1-1 in the first period. New York Rangers and the Columbus Blue Jackets tied up at, or rather they're scoreless after 1 period of play. Edmonton leading the Carolina Hurricanes 2-1 after 1 period of play. The New Jersey Devils, they lead the Washington Capitals 2-0 after 1 period. The LA Kings leading the Ottawa Senators 1-0 after 1 period of play. The Buffalo Sabres and Detroit Red Wings, they are tied up at 1 apiece after 1 period of play. And the Chicago Blackhawks, they lead 1-0 over the Toronto Maple Leafs with 4 minutes and 52 seconds left in period number 1. Some other NHL games going on later today. The Vegas Golden Knights will be taking on the St. Louis Blues, Philadelphia against Dallas, San Jose against Seattle, and Winnipeg against Calgary. When we come back, we will be ready for the beginning of period number 2. After 1 period of play, it's Youngstown 1, Fargo 0. Let's break for 60 seconds as both teams are about to be introduced back onto the ice. This has been the Intermission Report, and this is Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. I know. All right. One 1-0 lead for the Fargo Force as they are being introduced back out onto the ice. trailing 1-0 to the Youngstown Phantoms here tonight. Tommy Fox with you from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. Jordan Bennett producing back in our 7-4 The Fan studios. Taking a look at the replay. If you're watching on the TV side for FloHockey, a couple opportunities for the Fargo Force, but it's been a pretty physical game up to this juncture. Again, a lot of the passing lanes being clogged up by both teams, excluding that power play goal by Ryan Rusinski. He was able to tip it in right out in front. Looking at the replay right there, and yeah, right through the legs of Alan Lendak. But Fargo definitely has more than enough firepower to come back into this game. Fargo will now be moving right to left in period number 2. Youngstown moving left to right. Only one penalty in the entire first period. That was a roughing call on Luke McNamara, followed by a power play goal by Ryan Rusinski. Jack Hextall taking the faceoff for Youngstown. Luke McNamara taking the faceoff for Fargo. Puck has been dropped. Faceoff won by Youngstown. Off we go with period number 2. Puck sent down to neutral ice by JT Feeney, now along the end boards. Want to thank everybody watching and listening to Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey tonight. Jordan Bennett, of course, our producer, back in our 740 The Fan studios. Puck kicked loose again. Butella sent it down. And that'll be an icing. Just trying to get it free. Not a bad job by Butella by any means. Had to get it out of trouble. And another face-off will be coming up this time, or rather, first face-off of the second period. But there have been quite a few face-offs here in this game. First face-off of period number 2. Ryan Rusinski will take the face-off against Luke McNamara of Fargo. Face-off won yet again by Youngstown. Rusinski has it behind the net, takes it along the far side. Puck sent back behind the net. Now trying to be dug out in the corner by a Phantom player, but Luke McNamara is right out in front. Now taken back by Youngstown, trying to set up at the point. The puck gets sent across the slot. Little bit of wraparound try, nobody home. That was a good opportunity as Carter Murphy tried to set up a guy that should have been on a centering feed, but nicely played by Fargo. Nobody home, and that puck's gonna be covered up by Alan Lendak of the Fargo Force. It has been pretty sloppy for Youngstown in terms of puck movement to start this second period. But for Fargo, they're looking a lot more refreshed than the Youngstown Phantoms are. Face-off won by Youngstown yet again. That has been dominated by Youngstown here tonight. Puck dug out in the corner. And it's going to be taken away for the moment by Stepan Cherney. Chased down by Graham Jones, but sent back down into the Fargo zone for an icing. That was Cal Houston sending it down for the Youngstown Phantoms, leading it 1-0 here in period number 2. 18-17 left in period number 2. Face-off coming up in the near circle in the Youngstown defending zone. Brooks Cullen will be taking the face-off for Fargo against Jakub Hess. Jakub Hess taking the face-off for the Phantoms. Brooks Cullen for the Fargo Force. A little stoppage in play. And the faceoff won yet again by the Youngstown Phantoms. Bryce Mattern sends it back to McCray, who sends it all the way down to Kasiba. Dumped off for Cherney, puck out in front. Opportunity for Cullen. Excellent opportunity, just couldn't get the stick out in front. The puck was airborne, tried to tip it in, and I looked like a broken stick. But no broken hardware to be seen. Cherney lost it, but he gets a dump off from Nick Kasiba. McCray near side, tipped down in front, they score! What a shot! Near circle, we're tied at 1. That was Brooks Cullen tipping it out in front. Nicely done. McCray will get the assist. Brooks Cullen, his second goal in as many games, and he ties it up at 1 at the 17:41 mark of period number 2. So second goal of the season for Brooks Cullen. He's now up to 5 points total on the season. Here's another shot from the far side. And that shot's gonna be saved immediately by Owen Leapock, goalie of Youngstown. And Leapock didn't even see the puck coming. And if he did, it would have been too late anyway. I mean, that puck was smoked, and that's not an easy shot that Brooks Cullen took. And that was just on the tip. That was just excellent timing by Brooks Cullen. That was the 10th shot of the period. Lindbergh from the point, that's gonna be off a stick of a player. And a loose puck, nearly knocked in by a Youngstown Phantom player. A little bit of pushing and shoving after the save by Owen Leapock. And Jack Wilson having a discussion with one of the officials right next to the Youngstown goalie. Right next to the Youngstown net. I think he wanted Fargo to be called for a roughing penalty, but he's not going to get it. So all that protesting can be put to rest. Graham Jones will be taking the face-off for Fargo as the game is tied at 1 here in period number 2. And the face-off is won momentarily by the Phantoms. Here is Jack Wilson sending it along the far boards, now dumping it off for another Youngstown Phantom player. Patrick Tolan, excellent defense for the time being. Tried to apply the forecheck. And Hextall is going to be wrapped up, and this will be a penalty. At least that's what it looked like. Arms getting tied up right past the blue line into the Fargo Force zone, but instead it's going to be, I think, an offside. I think offside's the call. So face-off won by Fargo. They haven't won the face-off much, but they've been able to make up for it. That's what Fargo does so well. Finding the silver lining and exploiting it every single game. Sent around the horn to Graham Greeter. Stick handle to the near circle, taken away by Youngstown. Puck loose to neutral ice. Sent back down low to Graham Greeter, going right to left on your radio dial. Here's Graham Jones near side. Graham Jones at the point. A little bit of stick handle right below the near circle. Centering feed, and a shot is just going to be off the pad of Owen Leapock. That was a beautiful setup by Graham Jones, but the shot was no good. Sent down low, Bryce Mattern, he's ahead of the pack. Bryce Mattern out in front. He lands right into the net. And a whistle's been called at the aftermath. Boy, oh boy, Bryce Mattern, like a shark in blood-infested water on that puck. Looking at the replay, he got out in front. Not a bad shot to take it all, especially since the goal by Brooks Cullen not too long ago created a momentum shift. And with a guy like Bryce Madden, you're going to get that nonetheless. You're going to get aggressive puck handling, and you're going to get speed on the ice. And the guy who tied the game, getting his second goal of the year, Brooks Cullen, will be taking the faceoff against Ryan Rusinski on the near circle in the Youngstown zone. Faceoff won yet again by Youngstown. Puck sent down, tipped, I believe, and neutralized by Colin McRae, so wave off the faceoff. Rusinski is shot, that's gonna be way off. Puck out in front in the high slot, now kicked aside and into neutral ice. Sent down to Rusinski. Rusinski with a shot and a glove save made by Alan Lendak of Fargo. Again, it is Veterans Honor Flight Night here in Fargo, here at the Shields Arena. Lots of great festivities going on. And before the game, before the game, lots of festivities going on, lots of great food, and just an excellent atmosphere here tonight. Face-off will be redone. Whistle was blown. And I think someone had their stick out before the puck was dropped. Or at least before the puck made contact with the big red circle inside the thinner redder circle. Shot goes off the right pad of Lendak. Puck tipped a couple times in neutral ice and taken back by Youngstown. 2-on-1 opportunity developing. Here's an opportunity out in front. Puck will be saved by Lendak. How in the world did he save that? Doing a full banana split, and he was still able to save it for Fargo. Holy cow, that was one of the better saves I've ever seen. That was a 2-on-1 developing, and again, more pushing and shoving. That has been a common theme. But how about Alan Lendak? Wow. So in case you missed it, Brooks Cullen got his second goal of the year at the 2:19 mark of the second period, assisted by Colin McRae and Stepan Cherney, tying the game up at 1. Face-off will be taken by the Youngstown Phantoms. Pass out in front is wide. The shot from the point by Rusinski is going to be kicked aside. Fargo is going to be taking it right to left through neutral ice. Graham Jones dumps it off. Big hit delivered by Rusinski along the far boards. And a chance for Graham Jones. He delivers a big hit. A little bit of a tit for tat on that hit by Graham Jones. Saxton Test taking it through neutral ice. A little bit of a stick handle. Graham Jones getting it, but then pinned along the boards. Test sends it around the end wall. Near side, shot from the point by Axel Lofgren right in front of his Fargo Force bench. Save made by Owen Leapock. The beer can races are coming up. Who will it be? We'll find out after the break. With 14:31 left in period number 2. It's Fargo 1, Youngstown 1. Let's break for 60 seconds. Again, beer can races coming up. This is Fargo Force Hockey, and you're listening to it and watching it on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. We'll see. All right, all right. Oh yeah, I forgot. We didn't even make a bet about that. Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, Busch Light is the winner, taking a victory dive into the ice. He may have lost his footing, but Busch Light is the winner. Jordan Bennett producing back in our 740 The Fan studios. Good to have you on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Tommy Fox with you from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. A 1-1 score in period number 1. A Brooks Cullen goal, assisted by Cullen McCrate and Stepan Cherney, tied the game. It was a beautiful shot by Brooks Cullen, which will most certainly be on the replay going into the third period. Face-off won by Graham Jones. No, it's going to be taken away by Youngstown. Almost won by Graham Jones, but I think he lost his footing. And a hit from behind. No call that time. I'm really shocked that Jesse Orlowski didn't get called for a penalty. Here's a shot out in front. The door was open, but it was slammed shut by Lendak. Graham Jones across to Saxton Tess. And a whistle's been blown. So this will be an offside call. Face-off coming up on the far side of the ice, right in front of the Fargo Force penalty box. Zach Zimmerman will take the face-off for the Fargo Force, and a whistle and some shoving. That was Malachi McKinnon, and understandable frustration. Check that. That was Jakub Hesch. Jakub Hesch with the pushing and shoving after the, or before the face-off. Face-off won by Fargo. Puck loose out in front. And sent around the end walls right behind Alan Lendak in his net. Sent up ahead to Jack Torr, committed to UConn. Puck sent out to the point neutral ice and taken back by Fargo for the time being. Nearly taken away by Wyatt Sibnewski. Here's Marchenko, he sends it down. And kicked aside, and that will be an icing. Face-off coming up. 13:39 left in period number 2. 1-1 our score. Fargo tied up with Youngstown. Quick scoring recap. A power play goal by Ryan Rusinski got the scoring started for the Youngstown Phantoms, but the Fargo Force responding as they always do. They got off the mat thanks to a Brooks Cullen goal, his second of the season, his second of this 2-game set, assisted by McCrate and Cherney. And a whistle's been called. This should be a penalty coming up, I would think. Nobody was offside. And this will be a penalty on the Youngstown Phantoms. Cooper Simpson going to the penalty box. The first penalty of the night for the Youngstown Phantoms. And if there was any time for the Fargo Force to strike, it would be now on this upcoming power play, and we'll get an official ruling by the officials in just a moment. They're having a discussion. I think they're going to review on whether or not this was a penalty. And we'll see. So they will be reviewing this. Malachi McKinnon, check that, Cooper Simpson was the guy that would be called for the penalty if it does stand. But right now he is in the penalty box. Looking at the replay right here. And that was pretty blatant. Looking at the replay, that I think that's clear as day. Using the stick as a baseball bat almost. That's right to the face. That should be a penalty. And what they also could be looking at is if the degree of the penalty is a minor or major, I think. That was a pretty physical play by Cooper Simpson, but it depends on what the officials will determine here. That is clearly a penalty, though. There's no debating that. So if that's what they're deciding on, in theory, it really shouldn't take this long to come up with the decision. And here's the ruling. So a tripping penalty has been called on Cooper Simpson. So it wasn't really the kind of the hit to the face, but more so the action before that happened. So it is a tripping penalty. It'll just be a 2-minute penalty on Cooper Simpson, but the first power play of the night for the Fargo Force. Graham Jones will be taking the face-off against Ryan Rusinski. In the near circle of the Youngstown zone. Puck loose in the circle still. It's going to be won by Youngstown again. A puck nearly hit an official in the far corner. Stepan Cherney gliding right behind the net of his team's defending zone. Pass ahead, Graham Jones gliding through neutral ice and into the attacking zone. Cherney at the point, lost the handle, dumps it off Lofgren near side. Here's Zach Zimmerman, near circle. Dumps it off back to the point, Lofgren. Lofgren across the point. Back to him, now Zimmerman. Zimmerman near circle. Goes down low. Here's a shot on foot, they score! Graham Jones on the power play! And the Force take a 2-1 lead. Beautiful setup from Kasiba to Jones. All started with Zach Zimmerman, so Zimmerman and Kasiba should be getting assists for that goal by Graham Jones. And for Graham Jones, that is number 6 on the season. Electric. Puck gets sent out back to neutral ice after the face-off after the power play goal by Graham Jones. So the 2 goals scored were by Brooks Cullen and Graham Jones on the power play just a moment ago. And that is something the Fargo Force have been needing, and they delivered. Kasiba nearly got a steal. He is a scrappy player too. He's making these Phantom players frazzled with his defensive presence. Sagan nearly got it, sent back around the horn. Behind the net, Lendak sets it up. Sagan chasing it down. Dumped off for McNamara. McNamara through traffic, has it taken away by O'Leary. Puck goes past the outstretched stick of Evan Jardine for an icing. And you want to talk about the cohesiveness of this Fargo team. It is just getting better and better and better, especially on the power play. As on that power play right there, it was just smooth as butter. You go kind of around the point, behind the face-off circles, and then you go across right in front of the crease. Right in the crease, pretty much, for the goal. Face-off on the near circle will be redone. Brooks Cullen will be taking the face-off for Fargo. Matus Kacharchik will be taking the face-off for Youngstown. Broken stick. Face-off won by Youngstown. But Garrett Lindberg has one step ahead of Kyle O'Leary on the near side. Puck taken by Berard. Brody Berard into the game for the Youngstown Phantoms. Sent down near side to Jardine. Jardine sends it around the horn, around the end walls, and now along the far side wall it goes. Sent back to through neutral ice and into the Fargo zone. McNamara skating through. Check that. That's Patrick Tolan. Sends it around the boards. Back to Patrick Tolan. Might have gotten a tip on it. Garrett Lindbergh sends it back around. Couple substitutions coming in for Fargo and Youngstown. Tipped out in front. Potential opportunity for Fargo. Patrick Tolan slipped. Trying to get back on his feet, and that's going to be a tripping penalty. That should be. And it will be. Logan Anderson will be called for the tripping penalty. The second power play of the period coming up for the Fargo Force. Or no, check that, not a tripping penalty.
Shields Arena, Youngstown going to the penalty box. You know what time it is. It's time for
And regardless of that, another power play coming up for the Fargo Force. Last time they had a power play was not too long ago, and they got a power play goal from Graham Jones, who will be taking the faceoff for the Fargo Force. They don't win the faceoff, but it'll be sent down to the Fargo zone to Alan Lendak. It'll be a hooking penalty, officially ruled by the officials. 2 minutes for hooking, and Fargo has a chance to take a 3-1 lead. Puck scooped up by Owen Leapock, getting a mitt over it, and a faceoff coming up. The Fargo Force taking complete advantage of the Youngstown Phantoms' sloppy play. And it has been sloppy for Youngstown. There is no doubt about that. Zach Zimmerman takes the face-off in the far circle, sent down by Youngstown. Good clear. No, that's going to be into the Fargo bench. Let's hope everyone's all right. That was an absolute laser. So now Zach Zimmerman will take the face-off yet again in the far circle of the Youngstown zone. A minute 38 left in the power play. All the power play goals scored tonight have come within 30 seconds, or rather 40 seconds. So it hasn't been long before both of these teams have gotten their power play goal. Cleared to the Fargo zone by Youngstown. Stepan Cherney has it. He'll coast through his zone. Dumps it off for Graham Jones. Graham Jones dumps it off behind the line. Graham Jones trying to get it back. A little bit of pushing and shoving with Cal Houston on the end wall. Owen Leapock able to get the save. 17 shots for Fargo, 15 shots for the Youngstown Phantoms. Face-off will be redone yet again. This time it'll be Nick Kosiba taking the face-off for the Fargo Force. Face-off won by the, looks to be the Fargo Force, but Alan Lendak was the first one there as he sets it up for Stepan Cherney. Lost the handle. Lofgren nearly got it. Cleared back down by Jack Hextall of Youngstown. Under a minute to go on the power play. 9:43 left in period number 2. 2-1 lead for Fargo. Taking their first lead on a power play goal by Graham Jones. Their second power play is right here. Puck being trying to be pried loose along the end wall. Sent out through neutral ice. Fargo will reset again. Stepan Cherney has it. Under 30 seconds to play in the power play. Jones looking to dump it off. Puck loose out in front. Here's a shot out in front by Lindberg. And the save made by Owen Leapock. That was close. Lindberg, a great opportunity, but unfortunately Leapock was able to get on top of it. Taking a look at the replay, Leapock had to go he was behind the net, but then had to reposition himself. Not really the smartest play, especially on the man advantage by Leapock. This one gets sent down to the Fargo zone again. Under 10 seconds to go in the man advantage. Now 5 seconds in the power play. Lindberg sent it down. Dumped off for Brooks Cohen. Back at full strength are the Youngstown Phantoms, and Fargo scores! Eero Butella to the back of the net, top shelf, and it's 3-1. Right as Youngstown got back to full strength, Eero Butella, a missile to the back of the net. It's 3-1 force. Number 2 on the season for the pride of Chicago, Eero Butella. Face-off being taken at center ice, won by Sagaden and the Fargo Force, and they are rolling. They have found the chink in the armor that is the Youngstown Phantoms. The Fargo Force are simply outplaying Youngstown throughout this entire game. Sent down to the end wall and around the horn. Tipped down in front nearly by Patrick Tolan. He almost had an opportunity himself. Tolan gets it from behind. Puck still loose below the near circle. Cherney at the point. Dumps it off for Sagaden down low. Sagaden trying to fight off a defender. Sagaden behind the net. Patrick Tolan trying to dig it out. Tolan kicking it, but only because the Youngstown Phantom defender is pinning his back against the end wall. 7:48 left and counting, left in period number 2. Cherney now going around the horn, top of the far circle. Puck out in front, opportunity for the Force. Puck still loose and sent out through neutral ice. On a contact, no penalty, of course. And Fargo will dump it off and get the line change. Nicely done. Nicely done by Jacob Sagaden to get the line change. Dumped off behind to Graham Jones. Back to neutral ice, Axel Lofgren. Lofgren sends it around the horn, along the end wall. Right to Garrett Lindberg, who rifles a shot right into the glove of Owen Leapock. Face-off coming up. And we will step aside. The Fargo Force dominating in period number 2 with 7:08 left in period number 2. It's Fargo 3, Youngstown 1. Let's break for 60 seconds. You're listening and watching Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. 60. 7:08 left in period number 2. Why did I say? I think it's pretty, well, it's because of the goals that have been scored. That's hockey for you. Awesome, thank you. A 3-1 lead for the Fargo Force here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Tommy Fox with you from Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. Jordan Bennett producing back in our 740 The Fan studios. A 3-1 lead thanks to the most recent goal by Iro Butella just after the power play. Right as Youngstown got to full strength, he rifled a shot to the back of the net for his second goal of the season. And Fargo has a 3-1 advantage. 6.5 to go in period number 2. A near opportunity that time again by Graham Jones, and a Youngstown player is down right in front of the Youngstown net, right outside the blue paint. Could be looking at a hit to the face. I think that's Cal Houston down there, as he is being attended to. And it's good to see him get up under his own power. He must have gotten hit in the mouth. So a 4-minute minor for high sticking. Nick Kasiba will be called for the penalty. So a power play upcoming for the Youngstown Phantoms. 4-minute minor for high sticking by Nick Kasiba. Now if we'd be able to look at the replay again, I kind of looked like that the stick hit his face, but regardless, it's a power play for Youngstown. Puck loose out in the far corner, sent out to the point for Wilson. Wilson to the far side, Cooper Simpson down low. Back to the point, Simpson a shot just wide of the net, and this one I think got out of play. That's why the play is stopped. Of course, after the game, there is a jersey auction for Veterans Honor Flight Night here at the Shields Arena. You can head to sections 101 and 102 to participate in the auction. Face-off coming up on the far circle. 5-on-4 man advantage for Youngstown. Brooks Cullen couldn't win the face-off, but Youngstown could. Sent along, now the near side, Simpson, a shot out in front, just wide of the net. Jack Wilson has it, takes it into his own zone. Luke McNamara, one of the Force players coming in off the bench on this shift. Rosinski nearly had it. Down low behind the red line. Here's Jack Wilson at the point. Down low for Hextall. Hextall sets it up. Now Wilson, high slot shot, down low, centering feed, knocked away by Fargo. Still a little bit of sloppy passing by Youngstown. Fargo played that perfectly. Ryan Rusinski with the lone goal for the Youngstown Phantoms that came on a power play in the first period. Nothing for Youngstown since. 2.5 to go in the man advantage for Youngstown. 4:45 left in period number 2. Another great dump off by Fargo as they're looking to get a crucial penalty kill. 3-1 lead for Fargo. 4.5 to go in period number 2. Youngstown working left to right in front of us. Kucharczyk able to dump it off. Now back to the point for Carter Murphy. Back up top. Carter Murphy a shot. That is off the glove of Lendak and off to his left side. A big cross check in the near corner. Youngstown wanted a penalty, and I think they're going to get it. And there's still some pushing and shoving going. And we got some extracurricular going on in the near corner in the Fargo zone. That was Logan Anderson, who was called for the most recent penalty. That led to another goal for the Fargo Force at that juncture. And Logan Anderson doesn't have a stick right now. But Garrett Lindbergh is going to be going to the box, and I think that's going to be on the hit from behind. So it'll be 2 players in the penalty box as of right now. So this is a grave danger situation for the Fargo Force, and I don't know if I agree. I mean, when there's so much physical action going on in the near corner or just on the ice in general, you never know. But in that instance, I really didn't see much for it to be on a penalty on Fargo, because we've seen a lot of pushing and shoving throughout this game. To me, that looked like just a simple hit from behind. A simple forecheck on the man disadvantage. So now a 5-on-3 power play coming up for the Youngstown Phantoms. The man advantage will be for 2 minutes. So it is a cross-checking, so there could definitely be a debate there. But on the same token, it's still kind of a questionable call at best. Pass down low to Cooper Simpson, set up at the point by Hextall. Hextall gets it back. High slot pass, back to Hextall. Far circle, down low Wilson. Hextall sends it to Wilson, and a save made. No, save wasn't made by Lendak. It kind of was, but it kind of wasn't. Here's a shot, far side, knocked away by Lendak again. Sent around the horn to the point. Back to Simpson. Down low, shot off the net. No goal. That was off the side of the net. Jack Wilson down low, Cooper Simpson. High slot shot right into the chest of Lendak, and he buries the puck. Face-off coming up. Alan Lendak looking good here in his appearance tonight. Ever since that power play goal, he has looked phenomenal. 24 shots for Fargo, 18 for the Youngstown Phantoms. 34 seconds left for Nick Kasiba in the penalty box. 52 seconds left for Garrett Lindbergh in the penalty box. But in theory, 52 seconds left on the man advantage for the Youngstown Phantoms. Face-off won by Fargo, sent down, but Wilson's able to recover on the near side. Wilson gets it out of the point from Hextall. Hextall looking to get it back in the high slot. Hextall calling for it. Hextall a shot. And I think he was trying to set up Wilson, who had the door wide open, but he didn't get it. Not a good play by Wilson. Shot out in front. Another pad save made by Lendak. And it's going to go all the way down to the Youngstown zone. 20 seconds left on the man advantage for Youngstown. 3-1 lead for Fargo. Youngstown moving left to right, so one man returns. That was Nick Kasiba. 10 seconds in counting on the power play. Here is Rusinski. Rusinski trying to set up someone at the point. Down low. Here's a shot, and Youngstown scores. It's going to be 3-2 as Carter Murphy buries home his second goal of the year. (3-2) Fargo leads now as Carter Murphy gets a power play goal right as the power play expires. So technically he was still on the power play. And Youngstown is within one. Colin McCray trying to dump it off into the Youngstown zone, but he was unsuccessful. Almost cut off by Jacob Sagan. Puck goes behind the net. Luke McNamara sets it up in front for Sagan, who missed. Sagan had the door wide open. Just missed on the shot. That's going to happen from time to time. Out in front for McNamara, he doesn't get it. Puck taken away by Jesse Orlowski. Puck cut off by Colin McCray, who sends it along the end wall. Jacob Sagan with good forecheck that time. Nick Gasiba crashing into the wall, trying to get the puck. He's able to get it behind the end wall for the moment. And the puck goes free out to the point for Youngstown. Puck out in front and kicked away by a Fargo Force player. 1:10 and counting left in period number 2. Sagan is skating down into the Youngstown zone. Sagan a stick handle out in front. Shot is no good. Collision in the crease.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute.
No penalty. Under a minute to play in the period. Garrett Lindbergh retrieves it behind the red line of the Fargo zone. Dumps it down in neutral ice. Dumped back down by Youngstown. Line change for both teams. Garrett Lindbergh collects it again. Sends it along the far wall. Puck now goes to neutral ice. Youngstown has it. Dumped down that time by Hamilton. Garrett Lindbergh got it taken away by the Youngstown Phantoms. Graham Jones, he has a power play goal here in this game. Bryce Mattern trying to get the puck in the corner. Ball was unsuccessful. 20 seconds and counting left in period number 2. Fargo working right to left on your radio dial, but Youngstown has the puck. Sent down across neutral ice in the air and into the Fargo zone. Marchenko to Lindbergh. Jones trying to help, so is Tolan. Shot by Hamilton from the point, and he scores. Oh my goodness. This game is tied at 3. Jack Hamilton right in front of the blue line of the Fargo zone, and he ties the game with 2 2/10 of a second remaining. And it seemed like Fargo had the momentum. So Fargo's going to be challenging this for potential intentional goalie interference. So hold your horses. Jack Hamilton may not have a game-tying goal at the end of the day. There's a lot of bodies moving around, so this will be a huge call. If it is a goal for Jack Hamilton, it would be his first of the season. Between Owen Lepak and Alan Lendak of Fargo. 26 shots Alan Lendak has seen. He's made 23 saves as of right now. Could be 24 if the goal is wiped off. For Owen Lepak, he has had 21 shots come his way. He's been able to save 18 of those shots. And these officials are still reviewing this, but I think they've come to a conclusion, and we are about to see the ruling. We're about to hear the ruling as well. So no goalie interference. The game is tied on a game-tying goal by Jack Hamilton, his first of the season. And looking at the replay right here, he was in the blue paint that time. I don't know. That does not sit right with anybody at all, including myself. Face-off won by Youngstown, but it doesn't matter with 2.2 left on the clock. The clock hits triple zeros. And that'll do it for period number 3. So 3 goals in period number 2 for Fargo, 2 for Youngstown. We're tied up at 3 going into the intermission report. After 2 periods of play here at the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota, game 2 of this 2-game set between Youngstown and Fargo. It's the Fargo Force 3, the Youngstown Phantoms 3. Let's break for 2 minutes. The intermission report is coming up around the corner. You're watching and listening to Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey.
Great prizes tonight from the Star Fireworks Chuck Buck Contest. Prizes from Star Fireworks, Buffalo Wild Wings, Thunder Rose, the Bowler, Sweet Shots, Swanson Health, Witch, Arnie Stone, Kia of Fargo, The Shack, the Peggy Barbecue, McKenzie River Pizza, Sandy's Donuts, and your Fargo Force.
Nah, we don't need to do that yet.
Works, I'll give the signal. And when I do, not before, but when I do, you'll have 60 seconds to check those pucks. And if your puck lands closest to the center of any one of those prize cards at center ice, well, you're a winner. On Honor Flight night, Saturday night, Postgame Shield.
That was you, wasn't it?
Like I said, when I give the signal, you'll have 60 seconds.
Heck yeah. No, it wasn't. Oh yeah, no, it was. It was, but they said it wasn't. It was a bad call. It was a bad call, to be honest. Yeah.
Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! 60 seconds in tonight's Star Fireworks
All right.
contest.
Yeah, it's been a comeback for the Youngstown Phantoms, down 3-1 going into the later stages of the second period, but they've been able to battle back, and we're tied up at 3 here in the intermission report. The second intermission here at Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. Tommy Fox with you from the Shields Arena here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. It was, again, a 3-1 lead for Fargo, but 2 unanswered goals by Youngstown. It squared up this game at 3 apiece, and we'll go over the scoring recap in just a moment. But to take away the second period, lots of sloppy play from Youngstown. Not a really good period from that at all. And what does Fargo do? They're able to take advantage of that, and that's what they've been so good at this season. They've been outplaying Youngstown pretty much this entire game, except those answers by Youngstown have been able to make it a tie game up to this point. So taking a look at the scoring recap of period number 2, the Fargo Force were able to take a power play, check that, not a power play goal. They were able to get Brooks Cullen his second goal of the season, 2 minutes and 19 seconds into period number 2, assisted by Cullen McCrae, who got his 4th assist, and Stepan Cherney as well, getting his 4th assist of the season. On the power play, it was Graham Jones. That would be the first power play of the game for the Fargo Force. Graham Jones getting his 6th goal of the year, assisted by Nicholas Kasiba and Zach Zimmerman. Kasiba getting his 2nd assist, Zach Zimmerman his 4th. Eero Butella would get a goal himself. Eero Butella able to get a goal just after the 2nd power play for the Fargo Force expired. So it wasn't on the power play, but he got the goal nonetheless. Youngstown just got back to even strength, but Eero Butella put it home for his 2nd goal of the season. Brooks Cohen his 4th assist. Luke McNamara his 12th assist of the season. That came 11 minutes and 17 seconds into period number 2. Carter Murphy would make it 3-2 on his 2nd goal of the year, 17 minutes and 53 seconds into period number 2, assisted by Ryan Rusinski and Evan Jardine. The game-tying goal was a pretty controversial one at that. Jack Hamilton getting his 1st goal of the year, assisted by Matus Kucharczyk. The official ruling was that there was no goalie interference, but looking at replay review, it was a pretty questionable call at that. But regardless of all that, it's tied up at 3 apiece here in the 2nd period. There was a lot more penalties in period number 2. Cooper Simpson was called for a tripping penalty 6 minutes and 28 seconds into the period. Logan Anderson was called for a hooking call 9 minutes and 12 seconds into period number 2. And then the last 2 penalties of either team in that period, a high-sticking minor on Nick Kosiba, and then a cross-checking for Garrett Lindbergh. That came 15 minutes and 53 seconds into that period. That's when the 5-on-3 man advantage started for the Youngstown Phantoms. They had a lot of trouble trying to get anything going, kind of alluding to the sloppy play that has been from Youngstown. Fargo's taking advantage of that. Like I mentioned, they've had their foot on the gas pretty much from the jump, and it has benefited them. It's benefited them throughout this entire game. It just so happens to be a tie game going into the 3rd period. When we come back here on the Intermission Report, we'll take a look at some of the action going on in the USHL, NHL, and NCAA when it comes to hockey. That's coming up next. After 2 periods of play from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota, at the Intermission Report, it's Fargo 3, Youngstown 3. Let's break for another 2 minutes. You're listening and watching Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey.
You have a vision, a dream. Growing your business takes a partner you know and trust. At Gray Digital Media, we can help because we know local. Our digital marketing experts know how to reach your customers. Our experience spans coast to coast, but our focus is right here in the Valley. Gray Digital Media. We know local. Let's connect today. gdmfargo.com.
Breaking right now, a massive backup on I-94.
Breaking news for you tonight, a manhunt underway.
Stay connected to the team you trust your way. Get breaking news and investigations here on the Valley News Live app. Severe storms are rolling in from the west tonight.
Get instant forecasts with real-time alerts here on the Valley News Live First Alert Weather app.
Stream live here on your TV or watch anytime on your schedule. Search VNL and stream breaking news and weather anytime.
On behalf of the Fargo Force, thank you for attending today's game. Just like keeping my eyes on the puck is the only way to win, keeping your eyes on the road is the only way to get home safely. Sending a text at 55 miles per hour is like driving blindfolded the length of 2 hockey rinks. We want to see you back in these seats for the next game. So please.
Wow, really?
Drive distraction free.
Impressive.
Vision zero, 0 fatalities, 0 excuses.
Let's take a look at scores around the league presented by High Point Networks. They're now in the 3rd. U18 USA Hockey just scored. It's now 3-1 over the Steel. And at the Icebox in Lincoln, it's 4-2 Sioux Falls over Lincoln. At the Resch Center, 5-3. Campbell's over the Rough Riders. 500 goal scorers there. Sioux City up 2-0 over Omaha. Des Moines 3-2 in the 2nd.
We continue on the intermission report here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Good to have you with us here on this Saturday night. Tommy Fox with you from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. It is Veterans Honor Flight Night. Some good festivities happening before and most certainly after the game as well. Jordan Bennett is our producer back in our 740 The Fan studios. 3-3 is our score between the Fargo Force and the Youngstown Phantoms. 3 goals for the Fargo Force in period number 2, 2 goals for Youngstown in that second period. 26 shots for Fargo, 21 shots for the Youngstown Phantoms. Some other games going on in the USHL, and they've been pretty competitive as we speak. There was a couple of games that did get underway midway through the second period of this one here at Shields Arena. As looking at some other games going on, Team USA leading the Chicago Steel 3-1 in the third period. That game is nearing the end. Still 15 minutes and 48 seconds left, as mentioned, in the third period. Pretty exciting one going on in Green Bay as the Green Bay Gamblers leading the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders 5-4, just underway in the third period. Sioux Falls leading the Lincoln Stars 4-2 at the end of 2 periods. Sioux City leading the Omaha Lancers 2-0 at the end of 2. And the Des Moines Buccaneers leading the Waterloo Blackhawks 5-3 midway through period number 2. No update yet on Tri-City and Dubuque. They will be going at it tonight in Dubuque. And the Madison Capitals taking on the Muskegon Lumberjackets as well. So let's look at the action going on in the USHL. Take a look at the NHL scoreboard as well. Lots of action going on in the NHL. Tampa Bay defeating Florida 3-1. The Lightning victorious over the Panthers. The Wild a shutout win. The Minnesota Wild a shutout win over the Anaheim Ducks 2-0 today. Boston leading Montreal 3-1 in the second period. One apiece between the Rangers and Blue Jackets at the end of 2. Edmonton and Carolina tied up at 2 apiece at the end of 2 periods as well. The New Jersey Devils leading the Washington Capitals 2-0 at the end of 2 periods at that point. The LA Kings leading the Ottawa Senators 1-0 at the end of 2. Detroit leading Buffalo 4-2 at the end of 2. The Toronto Maple Leafs able to score 2 unanswered goals to take a 2-1 lead over Chicago. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in period number 2. Las Vegas Golden Knights taking on the St. Louis Blues. Vegas leading 2-0 at the end of 1 period. The Dallas Stars leading the Philadelphia Flyers 1-0 at the end of 1. The Seattle Kraken and San Jose Sharks will be getting underway at about 9 o'clock. And same case for the Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets. That'll be a 9 p.m. puck drop. Calgary taking on Winnipeg. Those are a couple nightcap games in the NHL. Taking a look at the college hockey scores. There's going to be quite a few of them going on tonight as the UND Fighting Hawks, North Dakota Fighting Hawks, taking on Arizona State. Arizona State and UND, from last report, were tied at 1 apiece. We're taking a look at some other scores. Cornell leading Yale 4-1 at the end of 2. Boston College leading All right.
Here they come. Welcome to the ice for the third
The third period is just about to get underway from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. Tommy Fox with you here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Glad to be with you here on a pretty warm, pretty mild Saturday in November. Take a look at the replays for the TV side. It was a 3-1 lead for Fargo, but then Youngstown was able to come back. And Piero Butella, one of the prettiest goals I've ever seen. Nothing really too crazy about it, just a thing of beauty, just right into the back of the net. That was the third goal of the contest for Fargo. And 2 unanswered goals for the Youngstown Phantoms. These two teams know each other very well. Played each other in the 2022-2023 Clark Cup Final, where Youngstown was victorious. Face-off won by Youngstown. Off we go with the third period. Puck goes to neutral ice. Going into the Fargo zone are the Phantoms and Ryan Rusinski, excuse me. Puck sent through neutral ice. Down low, Butella. He has a goal in this game. Puck taken away by Jack Wilson of Youngstown. Wilson has it, sends it across to Cal Houston. Down low, back to Wilson. Sends it through neutral ice. Puck deflects back into the Youngstown zone. Puck still loose. Patrick Tolan trying to feed it across neutral ice for Jacob Sagan, but it's taken away by the Phantoms. Here's a shot from the high point on the far side. It's going to be kicked aside by Lendak. Behind the net go the Force. Sent over neutral ice into the Youngstown zone. Played on a bounce by the Phantoms, taken up the far boards by Evan Jardine. Ryan Rusinski started the game with a power play goal. Fargo forced 3 unanswered goals, followed by 2 unanswered goals by Youngstown. Taken away by Colin McCrate for the time being. Here Saxton Test takes it to the near side through neutral ice, sends it along the boards. Played by Owen Lepak. Lepak's been pretty solid in this game, but a shaky second period for him. Both these goalies, even performances. Shot from the high point, no good. Off the glove of Lepak. Puck gets sent down across the red line in the Fargo zone. A couple of substitutions for both teams, as it's going to be shot from the high slot, but it's going to be kicked aside yet again. And they probably won't count that as a shot at the end of the day. They'll probably count that as a pass, or maybe he didn't try to even shoot in general. Regardless, sent down to the Youngstown zone to the right of us. Now the puck sent down to the left of us in the Fargo zone. It goes around the boards. Bryce Mattern plays it as it slides to the boards. Mattern through neutral ice, sends it down. And a big hit delivered by Bryce Mattern. He has been everywhere. Delivered the hit on Braden Thompson. Kind of a little bit of a shove by Mattern. Puck is still in neutral ice. Bryce Mattern trying to play it, but sends it into the seats right above the penalty box. Well, the fans, I think, weren't expecting the puck to get there. Can't quite see who caught it or if anybody did catch it. And everything happened so fast at that point. Especially for the receiving party of that puck. They didn't see it coming, but more importantly, it's good that they're okay. 17:07 left in period number 3. Game tied at 3. Fargo and Youngstown. Fargo looking to get a clean sweep of the Phantoms after winning last night 2-1. Puck goes through neutral ice and into the Fargo zone. Hextall lost the handle. Played nicely by Lindbergh in the corner. Now taken out by Axel Lofgren up the far side. Through neutral ice go Fargo. Zach Zimmerman near side trying to set up his man, Luke McNamara, and he didn't get it. Through neutral ice go the Phantoms. And nice job by Stepan Cherney getting it out of the Fargo zone. Zach Zimmerman able to get it for the time being. He's going to chase it down, but he's not going to catch up to JT Vini. Colin McCrate plays it in the zone. Colin McCrate through neutral ice. Stick handle sends it down to the red line. And a kind of an ankle breaker by JT Vini. Saxon Tess nearly got it, but poked away by Alexander Svitov of Youngstown. Puck still loose at neutral ice. Graham Jones nearly got it. Saxon Tess got a touch on it as well. Sent down into the Fargo zone by Carter Murphy. Puck through neutral ice yet again. 3-3 our score. Fargo and Youngstown tied after an action-packed second period. Saxon Tess couldn't get it. He does now. Trying to set up a man at the point. Nobody was home. Graham Jones behind the net trying to get it, but then it's taken away and almost taken away. Chance of the high slot for McCrate, and he couldn't get it. Check that. That was Jack Torr, and a whistle has been blown. This should be a penalty, I would think, is what the officials are wanting, and it is going to be a penalty on Graham Grader. Check that, Wyatt Sibnewski. Wyatt Sibnewski the penalty. Looked like Graham Grader was going to the box, but instead it was Sibnewski. And take a look at the replay. Did they get him on the... That was, I'm not sure about that. I mean, wasn't really an inadvertent trip. It almost looked like the guy flopped. And we'll see we'll get an official ruling on the penalty in just a moment. And it is a tripping penalty. It really, we really didn't see much. The Fargo Force fans, much to their dismay, and you can't really blame them. Looking at the replay, not really much there on that call. So a power play for the Youngstown Phantoms, and a whistle has been blown on the far side of the ice. So that'll be out of bounds, or rather, not a puck out of play, but a face-off coming up after an offside call. Pretty disciplined play by the Fargo Force tonight. Rusinski won the face-off for Youngstown. Cooper Simpson sent it down. Not the best pass as Lofgren picks it off. Sends it through neutral ice and into the Youngstown zone, where it's played by Jack Wilson. Check that. Yep, Jack Wilson playing it. Wilson skates through neutral ice on the near side, dumping it off for Hextall. Hextall up against the near boards. Almost taken away by McNamara. Rusinski calling for it on the near side. Rusinski with a shot, and that's going to be off to the left of Lendak. Here's Jack Wilson from the point. Down low, and a shot yet again by Rusinski is just wide to the right. Wilson gets it to the point. He'll fire a shot. That's off a Fargo Force player just above the high slot. 39 seconds and counting left in the power play. There was a 2-minute penalty. A whiff on the shot that time by Evan Jardine. Blown opportunity for the Youngstown Phantoms. Still 30 seconds left on the man advantage. 13:44 and counting left in the period. 23 seconds and counting left on the power play. 3-3 our score between Fargo and Youngstown. Youngstown on the man advantage. Moving right to left on your radio dial here in this game. Skating through neutral ice is Carter Murphy. Now this time it is Matus Kucharczyk. Kucharczyk behind the net, centering feed. Here's a shot from the point. It's going to be no good. Another penalty kill for the Fargo Force, and they dump it down for good measure. How about the penalty kill that time for the Fargo Force? Sent down all the way to neutral ice for Malachi McKinnon. And collision on the end wall in the Fargo zone between a Phantom and a Force player. Action going on right at the blue line, just on the edge of the Fargo zone and neutral ice. Sent down to Hamilton. He had the game-tying goal in the second period. He shoots and he misses. Might have been off the pad or the glove of Alan Lendak. Puck sent down to the Youngstown zone where it's played by their goalie Owen Lepak. Lepak the save there. 19 of 22. Owen Lepak on save opportunities. Forecheck by Bryce Mattern. Bryce Mattern's going to get it behind the red line of the Youngstown zone, trying to get it free. Instead, it's going to be taken control of by Cal Houston. Here's a shot from the far point, and that went out of play. There was a little bit of a stoppage. I don't think anybody saw the puck until the officials noticed that it was out of play. Just under 12 to play in period number 3. Fargo with a penalty kill here in this third period. 17:54 left in period number 3, and we will step aside here in the third period. 3-3 our score. Fargo and Youngstown tied. Let's break for 60 seconds. You're watching and listening to Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey.
Let's keep the winning going. Tonight's Chuck Puck winning names are up on the screen. Nate, Amber, Joseph, Armando, BJW, Scott,
All right.
Will, Chris, Avery, Brian, Aaron, Tobias, you are the winners. Go to the Star Fireworks Chuck Puck table in the upper level lobby and claim your prize.
Three our score between Fargo and Youngstown. Tommy Fox with you here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. 11:40 and counting left in period number 3. Jordan Bennett producing back in our 740 The Fan studio. Shot out in front. Save made by Owen Lepak of Youngstown. Face-off coming up. Taking a look at the replay. Puck out in front. That was I believe Cullen McCrate there. Either McCrate or Tolan that time. Regardless, face-off coming up in the far circle of the Youngstown zone. Face-off briefly won by Fargo, but then taken out behind the red line by Youngstown. But good forecheck by the Force to try to force a loose puck. There is a loose puck. A little bit of some action going on the far side of the Fargo zone. A player blew a tire for Youngstown. And here come the Force going left to right on your radio dial. Shot from the high slot, just wide to the left of Owen Lepak. Puck goes loose to the speedy Garrett Lindbergh, but then it's going to go to the Fargo zone right in front of the red line. Dumped off for Lindbergh near side. Nearly taken away. It is taken away by Simpson. Cooper Simpson of Youngstown nearly got it for Youngstown. Puck still loose. Now sent down. Nearly an offside call on Youngstown. Not sure if there was anybody who saw it. And some pushing and shoving in the crease. That's going to be a penalty, no doubt about it. And now some pushing and shoving to follow. Lendak got practically shoved to the back of his net. And how do you not call that? That was blatantly obvious. 3-3 our score, 10:31 left in period number 3. 27 shots for Fargo, 22 for Youngstown, and Garrett Lindbergh will be going into the penalty box, and so Ryan Rusinski. Penalty box opening up for him, and he's jawing at the official and trying to protest, trying to make your point. Not really worth it. He's still jawing at the officials. Kind of useless when looking at the replay. There's the shot, and yeah, Rusinski practically backed into Lendak. As the shot was wide, yeah, Rusinski backed into him. That initiated the brawl, essentially, right behind the net. Yeah, no, I don't understand the protest by Rusinski because he was backing into the goalie, Alan Lendak. So, Garrett Lindbergh in the penalty box for Fargo, and Ryan Rusinski in the penalty box for Youngstown. Both teams getting 2-minute penalties. So a 4-on-4 coming up. Both of them in the penalty box for roughing. 9 minutes and 29 seconds into period number 3. Face-off taken by Patrick Tolan in the near circle of the Fargo zone. Here's a shot from the high slot, no good. Rather from the point by Jack Wilson. And it's going to be taken left to right on your radio dial by the Fargo Force. Puck's still loose. Cherney almost got it. 3 Fargo Force players had a shot at it, but it ends up in the stick of Jack Wilson. He sends it down to Cal Houston. Houston sends it down to Wilson. Wilson through neutral ice, going right to left in front of us, around the Fargo Force emblem at center ice. He dumps it down into the Fargo zone right behind the net of Alan Lendak, who's looking to his left and looking to his right to make sure that he keeps it a 3-3 tie on this 4-on-4 opportunity for both teams. Here's Graham Jones skating left to right in front of us. Skating right through the Fargo Force emblem in neutral ice, and an offside penalty is called. I think it was going to be Patrick Tolan that was offside, if I'm correct. And that seems to be the call. Face-off coming up on the near side, right in front of the Youngstown bench, kind of to the right of us here at Shields Arena. Jacob Sagaden couldn't win the face-off. Carter Murphy comes up with it for Youngstown. Youngstown, 2 unanswered goals in the second period. Hamilton sends it back to Murphy on the trailer through neutral ice. Murphy into the Fargo zone. Murphy trying to stick handle. Murphy looking to backhand. Instead, he resets on the near side below the circle. Puck is tipped at the high slot, and a whistle has been called. Whistle has been blown in the Fargo zone. And this will be another penalty on Fargo. Graham Greeter's going into the box. He got a slashing or a high stick. Not really sure what I didn't really see much there. In all honesty, really not much. And Fargo already has a man in the penalty box on a roughing call, that being Garrett Lindbergh. So Graham Greeter is going to be going into the penalty box for a slashing penalty. So that makes it a 5-on-3 for at least 35 seconds for Youngstown. And a little bit of history. They did get a goal on one of these opportunities. Or check that way, it won't be a 5-on-3 because it was a 4-on-4 before. So my mistake. It'll still be a power play for Youngstown nonetheless. So a 4-on-3 upcoming for Youngstown. And no whistle that time, sent down by Arseny Marchenko. He had one of the 2 goals last night for Fargo. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. And both teams will get a player back out on the ice, but still a 5-on-4 man advantage for Youngstown after the slashing penalty on Graham Greeter, 10 minutes and 53 seconds into period number 3. Couple of substitutions for the Fargo Force. Youngstown taking it right to left through the neutral zone into the Fargo zone. Stick handle out in front, puck out in front, loose puck still out in front, kicked aside by a Fargo Force player. Rusinski had a chance. It's going to be sent down by the Force, though. Excellent job by Fargo to send it down into the Youngstown zone. Under a minute to go in the power play for Youngstown. 43 seconds and counting to be exact. Another clear by Fargo. It's been a collective effort tonight for the Force. 30 seconds and counting on the man advantage. Nearly tipped away. It is tipped away. Fargo with an opportunity. Patrick Tolan far side. Patrick Tolan trying to turn the corner. Patrick Tolan gets it taken away by Carter Murphy. 14 seconds and counting left on the power play. Stick handle at the high slot. Poked away by Patrick Tolan. Tolan looking to get it back. Lost the handle on it. Here's a shot from the near circle. No good. Save made by Lendak. Penalty kill for the Fargo Force, and they look to run. Through neutral ice go the Force. Shot gets put aside by Owen Lepak. Patrick Tolan on the shot that time. 29 shots for Fargo, 24 for Youngstown. Here's Cooper Simpson, the University of North Dakota commit and Boston Bruins prospect. He gets it poked away. Garrett Lindbergh sends it behind the net. Another one sent behind the net by the Youngstown Phantoms. That was Cooper Simpson trying to possibly set up a rebound try for one of his teammates. Here's Nick Kasiba. He lost the handle. Taken away by Hextall. Hextall playing it, and a whistle has been blown. We could have another penalty and or an offside call on the ice. And seems to be an offside being the ruling. We will step aside. It has been action-packed all night long, and it's just essentially getting started. Who knows? We could have overtime or a shootout. Still 6 minutes and 24 seconds left in the third period to decide just that. It's Fargo 3, Youngstown 3, 6:24 left to go in the third period. Let's break for 60 seconds. This is Fargo Force Hockey, and you're watching and listening to it on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. We'll see. We'll see. So there's overtime, and then there's a shootout if it's still tied after overtime. But whoever scores first in overtime wins. Stick handle, Jacob Sagden in the Youngstown zone. Going left to right on your radio dial. Fargo Force and Youngstown Phantoms tied 3 apiece. 6:06 left in period number 3. Tommy Fox with you here on 740 The Fan and and FloHockey, excuse me. 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Good to have you with us on the radio and or TV side, wherever you're watching and or listening to Fargo Force Hockey tonight. And a big hit on Butella. No call. No call on that. A little bit of a trip there. A lot of no calls here in the late going. And a whistle's finally been called. This should be an icing. And it's going to be a penalty. It's going to be a penalty on the Youngstown Phantoms. So they did call penalty, a delayed penalty. It's going to go on Jesse Orlowski. 2 minutes for tripping. Jesse Orlowski going into the penalty box. Jordan Bennett, our producer, back in our 740 The Fan studios. And a power play upcoming for the Fargo Force. Graham Jones taking the faceoff against Ryan Rusinski. Jones couldn't win the faceoff. Set down to the Fargo zone along the far boards by Cal Houston. Here's Axel Lofgren dumping it off. Here's Stepan Cherney. Graham Jones gliding through neutral ice. Down low, Kasiba. Kasiba trying to find Axel Lofgren far side. Now Lofgren's reset to the point. Lofgren looking to get an angle. Lofgren a shot. Lofgren a second try, and he just wide of the net. May have hit the net as well, and I think it did. Puck sent down back to the Fargo zone. 5 minutes to play in period number 3. 3-3 our score between Fargo and Youngstown. Fargo working left to right in front of us on the ice. Pass down low, Graham Jones gliding through neutral ice into the Youngstown zone. Sends it along the boards for Kasiba. Kasiba plays it as it glides through. Cherney trying to dig it out in the corner. Zimmerman. Back down low, Cherney. Cherney at the point. Cherney surveys. Cherney gets it back from Zimmerman. Lofgren looking to call for it. Here's a shot, and he broke a stick. Lofgren broke his stick on the near side. Zimmerman has it behind the red line. Graham Jones looking to help. Graham Jones able to get there. 41 seconds and counting left on the man advantage for Fargo. 3-3 our score. Cherney looking to call it back. Now it's a shot from the point. Squirts free, and it's going to go into the Fargo zone. Excellent job by the Fargo Force to at least try to get a shot off, but Youngstown looking to get a penalty kill with under 4 minutes to play in regulation. Puck sent down along the end wall. Played by Ryan Rusinski of the Youngstown Phantoms, but Euro Butella down there as well. A couple Fargo Force players looking to help. Down low, McNamara. Both teams at full strength. The penalty kill successful for the Youngstown Phantoms. McNamara, a little bit of a stick handle right in front of the bench in the neutral zone. Brooks Cullen almost got it for Fargo. Loose puck at the point. Here's a shot, and it's going to be just wide to the left of Graham Greeter, who was at the point. He gets it back in neutral ice into the Youngstown zone. Here's a shot that's going to be to the left of Owen Lepak. Puck played by Cullen McCrate through neutral ice. Under 3 to play in regulation. Sent back down to Alan Lendak for an icing. Clock is stopped at 2:51 in period number 3. Both teams are potentially looking to use a timeout. 4,318 in attendance tonight. An action-packed Saturday night. Of course, Veterans Honor Flight night tonight. Most certainly an excellent night here at Shields Arena. Face-off coming up in the far circle of the Youngstown zone. Face-off won by Fargo, sent down along the end wall by Colin McCrate. Played by Cal Houston of Youngstown. Puck still trying to be dug free by Patrick Tolan. Patrick Tolan got a stick on it. Puck is going to be pried free by somebody, but who's going to be? There's kind of a 3-on-2 in favor of Youngstown in the far corner. Puck finally dug out by Saxton Tess. Colin McCrate raced to the puck. Sent back to neutral ice by the Fargo Force. But then it's going to be rebounded by Jacob Sagan trying to take it through neutral ice. No penalty there. That was a clean call by the officials. Big hit along the end wall to Colin McCrate. Approaching 2 minutes to play and counting left in period number 3. Stick handle at the time being for Saxton Tess. Jacob Sagan sends it around the end wall. Through neutral ice go the Force. Dumped down by Saxton Tess. Line change for Fargo. 1.5 minutes and counting left in period number 2. Starting essentially right now. Only 90 seconds left in regulation, barring a go-ahead goal from either team. Pass up ahead to Nick Kusiba. He didn't get it. Nicely played that time by the Youngstown Phantoms' Jack Hamilton. He had the game-tying goal late in the second period. Puck sent high in the air. It bounces off neutral ice. Briefly in the Fargo zone before being played by the Fargo Force. Graham Jones has it. Approaching 60 seconds to play. Puck around the end wall of the Youngstown zone. Nick Kusiba nearly had it. Graham Jones trying to dig it out. Nick Kusiba trying to help him in the near corner. 3 Youngstown Phantoms. Checked out 4 Youngstown Phantoms in there to help. Graham Jones nearly got it. 45 seconds and counting left in regulation. Puck tipped at neutral ice by Youngstown Phantom, that being Jack Hextall. Hextall has it in the far circle, and a shot is blocked by Lendak. Bryce Matter gets it free to Graham Jones. 27 seconds and counting left in regulation. Big hit on Graham Jones along the far boards. He's slow to get up, and a whistle's been called. Whistle's been blown, rather, on the far side. Are we looking at a potential penalty? Possibly an injury timeout. I think. Graham Jones, he got hit pretty hard along the far boards. Let's hope he's okay. Neutral zone faceoff coming up, won by Fargo. Sent down low to Colin McCrate. Sent it down to Butello, who gets a tip on it. Brooks Cullen digs it on the near corner for the moment. Here's Colin McCrate trying to send it back into the Youngstown zone. 10 seconds and counting, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds and counting, 3 seconds. Fargo with 2, Fargo with 1. And Colin McCrate will stick handle it behind his own net as he watches the clock hit 0. So we will step aside. Overtime coming up when we come back after 3 periods of play. 3 periods weren't enough to decide this one between Fargo and Youngstown. Again, after 3 periods of play, it's Fargo 3, Youngstown 3. Let's break for 30 seconds. This is Fargo Force Hockey, and you're listening and watching Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Yep. Three periods were not enough to decide this game between Youngstown and Fargo. The Force looking to get a clean sweep over these Youngstown Phantoms here tonight. Tommy Fox with you here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Good to have you with us here on this Saturday night. Jordan Bennett, we call him JB, the pride of Lakeshore Drive in Illinois. Good to have him producing back in our 740 The Fan studios. Just good to have you with us here on this Saturday night. So a little quick scoring recap. for this game. Youngstown got their first goal on a Ryan Rusinski power play goal. They would lead 1-0 after 1 period of play. Fargo would score 3 unanswered goals, starting with a Brooks Cullen game-tying goal, followed by a power play goal by Graham Jones. Iro Butella would get a goal to make it 3-1, but then Youngstown would be able to answer back. 2 unanswered goals of their own to tie it up at 3. And both teams have a chance to walk it off here on Veterans Honor Flight Night at the Shields Arena. Crowd is getting loud here at the Shields Arena. 4,300 in attendance. Graham Jones will take the faceoff for Fargo against Ryan Rusinski. Played by Jack Wilson as Youngstown wins the faceoff. And if you're Youngstown, don't try to dilly-dally too much, but if you're kind of the same thing for Fargo rather, or for both teams shouldn't really dilly-dally because 1 turnover can result in a game-winning goal. Cooper Simpson takes it back to neutral ice. Nearly stolen by Garrett Lindbergh. Here's a chance at the high slot, poked away by, I believe, Lindbergh. Stick handled through neutral ice by Rusinski. Rusinski defended well by Stepan Cherney. Big hit along the far boards. Here's a chance out in front, poked away. Here's a chance at the point for Hextall. Hextall trying to turn the corner, now backtracks. Pass to the point, here's a shot out in front, blocked by Cherney. Nicely done. Garrett Lindbergh has it, and Fargo will control. They'll be going right to left here in overtime. 3:42 and counting left in overtime. 3-3 our score. Lindbergh trying to get ahead of his man. He does for the time being. He's going to have to get some help. Able to get it to Graham Jones. Graham Jones has it. Jacob Sagadin and Axel Lofgren checking into the game for the Fargo Force. Malachi McKinnon in the game for the Youngstown Phantoms. Here's Axel Lofgren, a shot. Axel Lofgren missed on the shot. Axel Lofgren an opportunity, and that's going to go out of play. Not a bad shot. And a face-off upcoming for the Fargo Force. 3:14 left in period, or rather the overtime period. 3-3 our score between Fargo and Youngstown. Face-off coming up in the near circle of the Youngstown zone. And the face-off's won by Youngstown. Here is Evan Jardine. Jardine will control. Committed to Ohio State. Jardine gets the feed. Jardine ahead of the pack. Jardine out in front. Jardine gets denied by Lendak. Lendak the brick wall in between the pipes for Fargo, and a blatant trip call that wasn't called. I don't see a penalty marker anywhere. I don't see a referee calling a penalty, but a 3-on-1 opportunity for Fargo. Here's McNamara out in front. McNamara misses wide of the net. McNamara just missed. And a man advantage going right to left in front of us on the ice. This crowd was ready to explode. So take 2 for the Fargo Force. Colin McCrate slams on the brakes. Dump off at the point for McNamara. McNamara back into neutral ice on the center Fargo Force logo at center ice. Here is Patrick Tolan. Patrick Tolan weaving his way through traffic, and that's off the post. That should be a goal. Oh my goodness, that looked like a goal, but the light didn't sound. And another blatant trip that wasn't called, and the crowd can't believe it. Oh my goodness. What a turn of events this has been. 1:42 and counting left in overtime. Kasiba dumps it off past McCrate. I don't think he saw the puck, and now they got to go back into neutral ice so they avoid an offside call. Garrett Lindbergh has it, gets the dump off from Patrick Tolan. Graham Jones into the game. Wraparound opportunity for Fargo. Dump off at the point for Jones. Jones at the point. Jones surveying. 1:14 left in overtime. Dump off behind the blue line of the Fargo zone to Graham Jones. Jones through traffic. Jones, here's the feed for Cherney. Cherney gets denied. Cherney the shot, he gets denied. Youngstown controls with under a minute to go in overtime. Jack Wilson will look for his options. Jack Hextall was one of them. He is waved off. Until now, Hextall gets the feed. Cherney nearly got it. It was underneath his skates. 33 seconds and counting. Here's a shot from the near side on a glove save made by Lendak. Wilson the laser. But Alan Lendak, the save. Face-off coming up. .31 and 5/10 of a second remaining. So out there for the Fargo Force, Colin McCrate. Looks to be Patrick Tolan out there. Yep, Patrick Tolan out there for the Fargo Force, along with Axel Lofgren. Jack Hextall, Carter Murphy. And I think they're going to review the goal, perhaps. That was, or rather, they're going to review the potential goal, no goal call of when it hit the post, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what they're looking at. That's what it sounded like from the officials. So we should be getting a look at this pretty soon, I would imagine. Because that one shot that Fargo took, that was very close. And we should be getting a call. And it is a confirmed no goal. And that is off the post, so yep, that's the right call. That is the right call indeed, but that was close. No matter how you want to look at it. 31 and 5/10 of a second remaining. Ryan Rusinski will be taking the face-off for Youngstown. Graham Jones winning the face-off for Fargo. Forceful control going right to left on your radio dial. Lofgren, trailer for Lindbergh. He has to reset in the neutral zone. Lofgren with under 20 seconds to go in overtime. 3-3 our score. Lofgren, far side, reset to the point. Lofgren, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, dumped off below, 2 seconds. They gotta hurry. Graham Jones has to fire, and I don't think he knew how much time there was. He still has time. He shoots, and he's gonna come up empty.
And we go into a best-of-3 shootout.
Save made by Owen Lepak, and we'll have a shootout coming up. Nobody was able to score in overtime, so we will settle this in a shootout. And so we will keep it here. 32 shots for Fargo, 27 shots for the Youngstown Phantoms. 3-3 our score here on Veterans Honor Flight Night at the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. Tommy Fox with you here on 740 The Fan and FloHockey. Jordan Bennett is producing back in our 740 The Fan studios. A quick scoring recap before this inevitable shootout. Youngstown got on the board first. They're able to score on a power play goal by Ryan Rusinski. Rusinski is 10th goal of the year, assisted by Cooper Simpson and Jack Wilson. 3 straight goals for the Fargo Force in the second period. A Brooks Cullen goal is second of the year, assisted by Cullen McCrate and Stepan Cherney. Graham Jones is 6th goal of the year. It was a power play goal, assisted by Nick Kasiba and Zach Zimmerman. And Ira Butella, the 3rd goal of the night for Fargo, is 2nd of the season, assisted by Brooks Cullen and Luke McNamara. Carter Murphy and Jack Hamilton got the last 2 goals for the Youngstown Phantoms, one of them coming 2 seconds before the conclusion of period number 2. Ryan Rusinski will be the first to take a shot for the Youngstown Phantoms. Puck is right at the middle of center ice. Ryan Rusinski, stick handle through the neutral zone, now to the Fargo zone. Rusinski still a stick handle. Rusinski a shot, and he puts it home. Youngstown strikes first in the shootout. It is a best of 3. So if Fargo is unable to get a goal here, Youngstown would be up 1-0 in technicality for the shootout. Here's Graham Jones going right to left. Graham Jones a stick handle, and his shot is just high and wide. Youngstown leading the shootout 1-0. Evan Jardine will be taking the shootout duties for Youngstown. Going left to right, he picks up the puck with his stick. Going to the near side. Jardine, stick handle shot, and Lendak the block. Lendak standing tall on that one. And Nick Kasiba will get a chance for Fargo. Will take his time, accelerates to the puck, and a stick handle near side. Kasiba, stick handle, and it sinks in right through the legs of Owen Lepak. And this is tied at 1. After the miss by Jardine, 1-1, it's Cooper Simpson. He's committed to the University of North Dakota. Simpson shoots, and he gets denied. Alan Lendak, back-to-back saves. And if Graham Greeter gets a goal right here, Fargo will sweep. Greeter far side. Greeter a stick handle, and he misses. To the right of Owen Lepak. And we will continue. Jack Hextall will get the chance now for the Youngstown Phantoms. Michigan State commit for Youngstown. He has it on the near side in the Fargo zone. Hextall stick handle, a shot. He's blocked by Alan Lendak. He's done it again. Luke McNamara has a chance to win the game. He had a walk-off goal about a month ago. McNamara has it. McNamara, he gets denied as well, and we continue on. Jakub Hesch now for Youngstown will get the chance. Couple of denials on both sides. Jakub Hesch will, oh no, he didn't score. That was close, but Lendak denies it yet again. Kicking it off to the side. Axel Lofgren will have a chance to win it for Fargo. Lofgren, far side. Lofgren, he scores! It's over! Axel Lofgren in the shootout. Fargo wins. It's a clean sweep. The graveyard shift for the Fargo Force as they put the Youngstown Phantoms to bed. 4-3 the final in the shootout. Snatching some enemy souls at Shields Arena were the Fargo Force as they put away the Youngstown Phantoms in the shootout here tonight. Axel Lofgren, the game winner, his third goal of the season as he wins it in the shootout. Top shelf, couldn't do it any better. Most certainly, one of these stars, one of the 3 stars of the contest here tonight. Our post-game show is coming up next. We'll recap scoring and set the table for what these teams have next coming up on their schedules, including for the Fargo Force, who are victorious tonight as we have a final score after not just 3 periods, not just 1 overtime period, but the shootout period. In a shootout, it was the Fargo Force 4, the Youngstown Phantoms 3. The post-game show is coming up next. This is Fargo Force Hockey, and you're watching and listening to Fargo Force Hockey on 740 The Fan and and FloHockey. I almost said 2 minutes. I almost said Me TV. It's out of freaking habit. Bro, the only games I've done are on Me TV. I can't help it. Yep. All right. Appreciate it.
It's time to announce tonight's 3 stars of the game presented by Sweet Shots. Took some extra time tonight, but let's hear it for your number 3 star. Shootout, 4 straight misses and saves. Let's hear it for your goaltender, number 33, your number 2 star multi-point
Okay.
night. Let's hear it for number 8, Brooks Coleman. Your number 1 star tonight came through when it really mattered and sent a message tonight. Let's hear it for number 27, Axel. Force Nation, once again, you showed up with the energy on the ice. You made a difference tonight. Reminder on the jersey auction, go get your bidder card behind section 101 and head to that same section 101 and 102 if you'd like to participate. Drive home safe tonight. We'll see you back here at Shields Arena in 2 weeks against the Chicago Steel. Have a wonderful evening. You earned it. We'll see you real soon.
And Jordan Bennett, JB producing back in our 740 The Fan studios. Fargo Force victorious over the Youngstown Phantoms 4-3 in the 6th round of the shootout. Axel Lofgren, you heard it right there, the game winner for the Fargo Force. Tommy Fox with you here on FloHockey and 740 The Fan. Of course, we have the radio listeners still tuning in, so glad to have you with you for the ride for the course of tonight. As again, Fargo winning 4-3 in a shootout. It was a real thriller here tonight in all aspects of the game. So look at the scoring summary. Youngstown started out with a power play goal by Ryan Rusinski, 8 minutes and 29 seconds into the first period, assisted by Cooper Simpson and Jack Wilson. Rusinski getting his 10th goal this season. Cooper Simpson his 15th assist of the year, and Jack Wilson getting his 5th assist of the season. In the second period, it was pretty evident that Fargo needed to get the offense going, and they did. 3 goals in a row, 3 unanswered goals by Fargo. First one by Brooks Cullen. Little quiet offensively this season, but he has blossomed in the best possible way. 2 goals in as many games this season. He got one last night in the 2-1 victory, and he gets one 2 minutes and 19 seconds into the second period, assisted by Colin McCrate and Stepan Cherney. Again, Brooks Cullen his 2nd goal of the season, tying it up at 1. Graham Jones would get the Fargo Force on top in the second period on the power play goal. His 6th goal of the year, assisted by Nicholas Gasiba and Zach Zimmerman. That came 7 minutes and 6 seconds into the second period. Iro Butella would get the last goal of regulation for the Fargo Force. His 2nd goal of the year came at the 11:17 mark of the second period. Again, 11 minutes, 17 seconds into period number 2, assisted by Brooks Cullen and Luke McNamara. Youngstown would answer themselves, though. They got 2 unanswered goals as Carter Murphy delivered his 2nd goal of the season. 17 minutes and 53 seconds into period number 2, assisted by Ryan Rusinski and Evan Jardine. Jack Hamilton would get the game-tying goal. 2 seconds left in the second period. A questionable call, as it should have been, in theory, goalie interference. There was a lot of replay evidence to confirm that, but the official saw something else, so make that the first goal of the season for Jack Hamilton. That, again, came actually on the power play as well. 2 goals on the power play tonight for the Youngstown Phantoms. Jack Hamilton, again, the game-tying goal. 2 seconds before the end of period number 2. He was assisted by Matus Kucharczyk at that point. Pretty balanced in terms of penalties as well as shots. 32 shots for Fargo, 27 shots for the Youngstown Phantoms. Only 1 penalty in the first period. That was a Luke McNamara 2-minute roughing penalty. And then for the Youngstown Phantoms, it was 2 straight penalties for them. Cooper Simpson, a tripping penalty, and then Logan Anderson, a hooking penalty. Both of them getting 2 minutes in the penalty box, followed by 2 penalties for the Fargo Force. A high-sticking minor by Nick Kosiba, making that 4 minutes, and a cross-checking by Garrett Lindberg. That evened up the penalties in the second period, 2-2 in penalties. So at that point, Fargo had 3 penalties, and Youngstown had 2. In the third period, Wyatt Subnewski was called for a tripping penalty, followed by a roughing penalty by Garrett Lindberg. Ryan Rusinski was called for a roughing, 9 minutes and 29 seconds into the third period. Graham Greeter was called for a slashing, 10 minutes into the period. And then the final penalty was a Jesse Orlowski tripping penalty, 14 minutes and 25 seconds into the third period. Nobody scored in overtime, but then as you heard in the highlight right there, played by our producer Jordan Bennett, in the 6th round of the shootout, Fargo wins the best out of 3, 2-1, as Axel Lofgren puts home the game winner to put the Youngstown Phantoms to bed here on this Saturday night. So Fargo wins in a shootout 4-3. They sweep the 2-game set this weekend as Youngstown drops to 11-6-1-1, while the Fargo Force move to 11-5-0-1 on the season. Coming up next for the Fargo Force on their schedule, it's not going to be any easier. They're going to be traveling to Waterloo to take on the Blackhawks for a 2-game set. That'll be next Friday. 6:30 will be the pregame show on 740 The Fan. On Saturday, on 101.9 Jack FM will be the pregame show at 6:30. 101.9 Jack FM will have a 6:30 pregame on Friday as Fargo takes on Chicago Friday and Saturday. Again, Saturday will be on 740 The Fan. At 6:30 will be the pregame show. For the Youngstown Phantoms, their schedule is going to look like this. And as I mentioned, both teams not with easy schedules whatsoever, especially for the Youngstown Phantoms. Their schedule is going to be this. In about 5 days from now, they'll be taking it on the Dubuque Fighting Saints. That'll be a 7:05 puck drop. Big thanks to Jordan Bennett, our producer, back in our 740 The Fan studios. Excellent job tonight as the Fargo Force win it in a shootout, the 6th round of a shootout, by a final score of 4-3. And it is Veterans Honor Flight night, so the post-game jersey auction is going on right now in sections 101 and 102. So if you're still at the Shields Arena, you can still participate in the jersey auction. I'm Tommy Fox, repeating our final score in a shootout, the 6th round of the shootout. It was the Fargo Force 4, the Youngstown Phantoms 3. Axel Lofgren, the game winner in the shootout. Have a good rest of your Saturday evening, and so long from the Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota.